did I see? What did I defend you singing? What did I defend you swinging? That funny old tune will drive me to ruin. It came along and made me its slave. Now I'm craving things that I should crave. It came along and made me its slave. Now I'm craving things that I should crave.
Hi everyone, welcome to Tinfoil Wednesday. How are you all doing? I hope the middle of your week is going well. I hope everyone in the States is ready for Thanksgiving. Let's see what I missed. We're already on a hype train, I see. Blackwing Hecate, thanks for 24 months, says hi. Been a hot minute. It has, and now it's your 2-year anniversary. Good to see you again. Forrest Espion with 5 months says hello, how you doing? Fennikagami with... Oh. Sorry about that. Fennikagami with 100 bits. Forrest Espion with 100 bits. Bittergrin with 100 bits says, I was just watching the VOD of the Shabambu P guy on YouTube and now my stomach is upset. I'm sorry. To be clear, there's no Shabambu guy today. There's no Shabambu guy. We're fine. I just forgot to turn Boxy off. That's why. Neener is Meaner. Thanks for 15 months with Prime. Habitual Dodo with 23 months says 1 month to go to 2 years of subscribing to one of my favorite streamers. Thanks for all the laughs. Thanks for all the views and all the laughs. The laugh isn't automatic. That means you think my jokes are funny, which makes it so. Or at least find the things I find funny. Forest Espion, thanks for gifting a sub. Mr. Whiskers, thanks for 50 bits. Bittergrin, thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs. First name Bunch of Numbers, thanks for gifting a sub. Bittergrin with 100 says, why is Boxy already here not complaining? Already explained, I just forgot. Still on from last time. Bittergrin's... Blackwing Hecate, rather, says, wow, you've been doing wonderful with your voice training. Thank you. Alamet with 16 months says, woo! Dahlia Vianney with gifting 1 tier 1 sub. Thank you. 57% to level 5. We are doing bingo today, but a lot of our time is going to be on a single video on one topic, so I don't know if we'll get to bingo, but we can certainly try. And if the video we end up watching isn't all that great anyway, we'll move on. So it's a movie about how heliocentrism is Satanism. Bumble Homestead with 31 months says, hope you have a lovely weekend, Thanksgiving or otherwise. Well, thank you, you too. Blackwing Hecate says, wait, what did OT do? Wait, who's OT? OT. Why am I blanking? What did OT do? Mr. Whiskers, thanks for gifting a sub to 2 ponies. Thank you, Marasama. I think I just got this at Torrid. Kinda... It fits on me well. It's nice. 92% to level 5. Oh my gosh, there's 10 seconds left. Will we miss level 5? Fennikagami, 200 bits, says for the foil, 10 seconds, 98%. We're so close. Will we not get level 5 by just the... Oh! First name Bunch of Numbers gifts 50 bits. And gets us over level 5 of the hype train. Bumble Homestead with 200 bits. Blackwing Hecate with 50 says 1 topic at a time. It was a joke. Chaos for now, thanks for 100 bits. We did it, everyone. Level 5. Alright, let's see. Let's get the tinfoil on. Mr. Whiskers, 50 bits, says success. DeWolfie with 100 bits, thank you. My hair got a trim. I don't know if you guys can tell. I think it looks better. A lot of the dead, bad stuff at the end is gone. It needed to be culled so that it could grow anew. Either way, it feels a lot better. Blackwing Hecate says, being a plus-size trans femme, 90% of my wardrobe comes from either Torrid or Hot Topic. Yeah, Torrid's great. I'm almost to the point where I'm out of Torrid clothes. I'm on one of their smaller sizes now. I'm actually kind of sad about it. I like their clothes. Screaming at the Radio says, have you checked out Jordan Kepler's podcast on conspiracy theories? It's surprisingly well documented with interesting guests that give a serious outlook on the origins of various theories. Jordan Kepler's. I have not. I'll have to look it up. Discordant Vol, thank you for gifting 5 tier 1 subs, 85% to level 6. First name Bunch of Numbers says, I see it, your bangs look nice today, thank you. Yeah, they were so long that I was having to push them to the side just so I could see. It was not a good look. It was fine, I did what I had to do. I think it looks better now though. Elegant Disarray says, hey Hannah, on the way to our second sub baby, don't know if you saw this yet, I know these guys are all grifters, but I seriously can't tell if he believes the things he's saying here. Let's see what it is. Oh my god, the Stop the Steal guy? Yeah, we can take a look. Let me get the tinfoil on, and then we'll get to it. Kanye West was spotted with Nick Fuentes on their way to meet Trump in Miami. Woo! That sentence had a lot of bad shit in it. Is Trump going full Nazi now? Is that a strategy? Oh, my crown thing broke a little bit. Discordant Vol, thanks for gifting a sub and getting us over level 6. Okay. That is done. I do not need this anymore, and we can watch this after I turn the volume. 11% to level 7 on the hype train.
Was going to lose, I would will it into existence. And I know that sounds kooky. And I know that sounds crazy. But just don't catch me on a wild day. Pete Davidson one time got on my bad side and almost killed himself. So you're not going to believe me. It doesn't matter. The point is that no one needs to believe you the first time. The point is you just need to tell them a first time. Do you understand this? This is going to sound kooky for y'all and cozy, but you guys don't understand the esoteric. What if I told you that all of us are capable of traveling? Well, not all of us, because you're not smart enough, but what if I told you that there are a lot of people capable of time traveling? They just don't know it. What if I told you that time traveling is easier than you think? It requires a lot of discipline and no machines. What if I told you that the reason why the New World Order wants you to focus on fiction stories about machines is they don't want you to know that everyone has access to time travel?
Like somewhere in time? So, I'm a time travel film aficionado. I own and have seen virtually every film about time travel that has ever existed, okay? I enjoy Somewhere in Time, which is a 70s film, was actually shot on Mackinac Island here in Michigan, starring Christopher Reeve. And it's a time travel film where he travels back to, I think, roughly the turn of the century, the 20th century, and falls in love, but he doesn't use a time machine. He basically hypnotizes himself into going back in time. It's a good movie. I recommend it. It's cute. Very sad ending. Time Traveler's Wife. That's another one. I enjoy. The movie's okay. I actually liked the TV show that was going on HBO, but they canceled it after one season. Made me sad. But anyway, yeah, there are there are fictional concepts of time travel that also involve just using your body or your mind or whatever. That's not original to this conspiracy theory. Discordant Volt says we can all travel through time at the same speed in one direction.
Then what if I told you that the way that those of us fight is we are each pulling from time itself? Yes, of course the Jews time travel. That's what makes the apostasy so great.
Overt anti-Semitism on the bingo card.
So what if I told you... What if I told you that I could prove that I've time traveled before?
What in the fucking fuck? Do we have a time travel space on the bingo card? Forrest Espion says, Hannah, a little off topic, but have you heard of the series The Chosen? You and Jake should review it. Oh, shit. Steakum, thanks for gifting 15 tier 1 subs. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. That's very generous of you. Speaking of time travel, here's something fun. The sound is a bit crap at the start, but it improves. Also, there's a version with the 5th Doctor. I'll have to look. Okay, let's see what these different things are. The Chosen.
Excuse me.
I have
60% to level 8 on the hype train.
something for me.
Throw this down for a catch.
I don't have a quarrel with you, teacher. We've been doing this all night. Nothing. All right.
Is this just like a video about Jesus's like disciples or like a movie about it? It looks more competent than some of the other bad religious movies I've seen. Okay, maybe I
Fruit
need to.
here is incredible. Everything that grows here is immaculate. Except for the people. You're such a miserable lot. You worship one god, and yet you're all divided.
69% to level
Only
8.
one language
Nice.
keeps their peace. None to speak it.
You are the great Nicodemus.
It's a TV show? Oh god.
Certainly.
They got the guy from Mr. Deeds. Forrest Espion says, regardless of one might think of the subject of the series, it was all crowdfunded, good acting. Thoughts, Hannah? I mean, I won't watch it, but like, I'm happy that they crowdfunded the thing they wanted to do.
God.
Yes. Yes, so do your enemies, rogue preachers in the wilderness, raving about a coming Messiah.
Simon, you're scared. I've lost everything. Burnt every bridge. If I don't catch a ton of
I wonder how many churches got involved in having their congregants donate to this.
fish or get some help somehow, they'll arrest me.
Christian fundraising apparatus is really interesting to me because it's vast. If you get into the churches and actually get pastors of some of these big churches to bring up your fundraiser and like tell the congregants about it. Clock Blockers, thanks for gifting 20 tier 1 subs. Thank you very much. Good day for gift subs. Thanks, everyone. What a great hype train.
I'm trapped.
No more talking, Simon. Maybe God can get your attention now.
Why? Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name.
12% to level 10 on the hype train.
I saw him. It was incredible.
You have experienced a miracle. You are healed.
Alright, I think I get it. It looks fine for what it is. I don't think it looks like... I think someone mentioned something about me and Jake doing something about it. Like a review. It doesn't seem like bad for what it is. Again, I don't personally believe it, but like it doesn't look incompetent necessarily. It just has a lowish budget. Discordant Vol says, Thanksgiving's gonna be a lot of fun. My family's conservative and I'm loaded for bear this year.
The undefeatable first pick Mickey and the unintelligible Dr. Julius Strangeport. Tonight's episode, The Stolen Birth.
Let's begin by scanning our surroundings for intelligent life.
Well, there's nothing near me, that's for sure.
Captain, we've just intercepted an alien communication. Look. That would take years to translate.
Your son
fast space swine. What business do you have with this planet?
Forrest Espion says, Hannah, funny thing, hardcore fundamentalist Christians hate it because they give Jesus more of a personality and got mad that at one point Jesus dances with the disciples. Why? That's so weird to me, because to me it seems, and again, I'm not Christian anymore, but I was raised Christian and within like some churches and stuff. To me, what seems appealing about Christianity specifically should be that one of the foundational like figures, the Messiah, is not only God but also a person, like a fully person and fully man within the theology, right? It's the anthropomorphization of God as a literal being, and that should be relatable and interesting. And I find it so weird when Christians are against that. Blackwing Hecate says, shows how much attention I've been paying to Twitch lately. There's a level 10. Oh yeah, I think it just keeps going. Stonecore Bell, thanks for gifting a sub. Clock Blockers says, do you think Elon will stop being a billionaire because he's just losing so much money after buying Twitter and the lawsuits from firing so much of the staff? That would be nice, but I think it's wishful thinking. I think it's probably pretty hard to get off the billionaire list if you're trying. Hydrate. Like, the system is so far in your favor at that point. I think it's hard not to fail upwards. Monster Junior, thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs. 78% to level 10 with just under a minute left. Alright, let's get into this, I guess. The hype train's still going, but it'll probably end soon anyway, so we will start the video on why heliocentrism is apparently evil or something. Like I said, we are doing bingo, but this is a long video, so depending on how much time we take with this video, I don't know how feasible bingo will be, but still, you can try and play. I don't know how many we'll get, though. Wow, Gedry2, thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs. Getting us over level 10 of the hype train. Forrest Espion with 100 bits says they believed dancing is evil, so they mad that Jesus danced. Also, Jesus made a joke. One of the disciples, shy about dancing, asked Jesus if he could make him a better dancer. Jesus laughed and said, there's some things I cannot even do. Fundies got mad at that joke. See, now that actually makes me maybe want to check out the show. Because I can enjoy media centered on Christian mythology. Like, I really enjoy, like, the Prince of Egypt and stuff. You know? It just needs to be well made and written. Forrest Espion, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Nemesor Colboth, thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs. Oh my god, we're getting close to beating, I think, our record for most highest hype train ever. Holy shit. Level 11 complete.
Sorcery. The use of power gained from the assistance or control of evil.
Wasn't our highest 19? Oh no, I think I don't think so. I just know it says about to beat your last record. Keep up the support. I don't know exactly where it is. Blackwing Hecate says, Aronofsky's Noah and Mother, for example, are things based on Christian mythology. Yes, I own both of those movies and enjoy them. There's flaws in them, but I like them. Clockblocker says, I mean, he's already lost 100 billion, allegedly, so just to keep Twitter from bankruptcy. That'd be good. Elon Musk, get fucked. Choking Ouroboros, thanks for gifting a sub. Sky Comet says, I'm helping with 45 bits. Bardlock Moses gifts 5 tier 1 subs. Jesus Christ. Where's vast lunacy when we need them?
Evil spirits. Whether employed for theatrical or more sinister purposes, the key principle of magic is the same.
Thank you so much, by the way, everyone. Again, I appreciate all of your support, and we could not do the show without it, so thank you.
You know, there's a word, misdirection, that's used by lay people a lot. It's a magical term. It's a term of art. And the way lay people use it is wrong. Because lay people often use it as a synonym for distraction. Like, hey, look over there, do something.
Metal Gear Mandy, thanks for gifting a sub. Anti-Pretzel with 50 bits says, thing is, Christian media is often lazy because clearly the message just comes first over quality. That's probably why The Prince of Egypt was so good. It didn't beat you over the head and was focused on trying to tell a story. It looked damn good doing so at that. Yeah. Briar Rose says, what's your favorite Turkey Day food? I love stuffing. I am all about stuffing. You have no idea. Stuffing and gravy. Really good. Although I don't think we have gravy this year. Well, maybe it'll be brought. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I don't know. Do we have vegan gravy? I have no idea. Anyway. Stuffing is my number one. Mac and cheese is also good. I'll be making mac and cheese this year. Who wants Hannah mac and cheese? Hannah mentions cheese on the bingo card. That was an accident. Clock Blockers, thanks for gifting 20 tier 1 subs. Holy shit. This hype train, man.
Sneaky here, and then you look back and the trick's done. That doesn't fool anyone.
Yes.
Do you not remember that I made gravy last year? Why wouldn't I make it this year?
I didn't remember that you did last year.
Yeah, we had it in that little crock pot to keep it warm throughout the meal.
Oh, fuck yeah. Well, I'm excited. We shall have gravy. Paladin's Fury says, I fully endorse and support your love of stuffing. It is the best. It is.
The way we use the word
10% to whatever level this is. I can't even see. It won't, like, I can't see what level this is. Is this 12?
Misdirection is kind of a curating of attention, giving 13? The audience a story they can tell themselves that lets them not really know they were distracted. We're going to do a trick right now using misdirection.
Stone Corbell,
in the words of magician T.A. Waters, misdirection is the cornerstone of nearly all successful magic. Yet to talk of magic, sorcery, and witchcraft as separate entities is nothing more than a play on words. The Bible plainly condemns all sorcerers and magicians. And
Yeah, but like, the colloquial use of the term magician is meant to denote someone who is like an illusionist who does sleight of hand and tricks for a living. They're not practicing actual magic, because magic isn't real.
Prior to the 18th century Enlightenment, sorcery and witchcraft were perceived by all Christendom to be demonic agencies. In our enlightened age, however, magicians are thought to exist purely as entertainers, while the spells of witches are considered superstitious nonsense. Although logical explanations can be found for the supposedly supernatural happenings of magic shows, the tricks are played upon the minds of the audience, and not the objects themselves.
I mean, I get you could phrase it sinisterly for no reason, but like, it's fun. It's just a fun thing people do as, like, entertainment. People, like, use tricks to entertain each other all the time. Like, look at the movie industry. Special effects are basically a kind of trick, right? Like, look at The Thing. There wasn't really an alien there. That was illusion brought together by artists and puppeteers and stuff. Like, that's an illusion. First name bunch of numbers. Holy cricky crap. Wow. First name bunch of numbers, thanks for gifting a tier 1 sub. Blackwing Hackety with 45 bits says Houdini is drilling into neighborhood grave plots right now. And Bittergrin gifts 10,000 bits, which I think is the maximum amount of bits you can give. Oh my god. That is incredibly generous of you. Thank you so much. Says, I haven't been around to give bits for a while and want to see the next hype level. Oh my gosh, Chromatic Cuttlefish gives 5 tier 1 subs and gets us over the next level of the hype train. I haven't watched Wednesday on Netflix. I didn't know it was out yet.
Evidence of one's senses
Holy
are believed.
Crap.
Then, in the mind, the magic is made real.
Level 13 complete. if we get to level 15, we beat our previous record. Monster Jr. gives 10 tier 1 subs. Oh my god, if we... you can see the line! We're so close to beating our all-time hype! First name bunch of numbers says me, donating 1 sub at a time. I'm helping. Bittergrin, you are like a little baby. Watch this.
So what if, in an age where witchcraft is dismissed as superstition from a bygone age, the spells of sorcerers have taken hold over the minds of men like never before? What if our more refined society has fallen for more refined sorcery under the guise of scientific evidence presented to our senses?
Guys, science is just wizardry. Did you know that? Bard Like Moses, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Nina is Meaner with 300 bits says, let's see how far this goes. Chromatic Cuttlefish says, to Hypefinity and beyond, 48% to level 14.
What if our entire conception of the world and its origins are a false and crafty misdirection?
Wow, that's a claim that would require a lot of evidence. Oh boy, Fennec Agami says, hype party. Discordant Vol with 100 bits says, sorcery has a pretty limited spell list though. Metamagic's cool. That's why you gotta go wizard. Oh boy, oh boy. Metal Gear Mandy, thanks for gifting a sub to NASA. Astro Fox with 100 bits says, I'm doing my part. Clock Blockers gifts 50 tier 1 subs. Oh my god. Hydrate. Klupak gives 1,000 bits. Thank you guys. Discordant Vol with 100 bits says, Sorcidin though. Oh my god. We did it. This is the highest hype train we've ever had. Thank you guys. You seriously have no idea, and I know we're 37 minutes in and I feel like we've barely gotten into the tinfoil. I'm so sorry. Clock Blockers, thanks for gifting oh my god, are you serious? Holy shit. Gedry 2, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Clock Blockers, thanks for gifting 10 more subs. Blackwing Hecate with 45 bits says, almost done with school and then I get to start looking for a good job. Nina is Meaner with 200 bits says, I'm just happy to be part of this historic event. I don't know if you could consider giving me money for doing a show, a historic event, but I thank you. Clock Blocker says, wanted to make it an even 100. Thank you. Really. Thank you so much. Ramblin' Boy with 100 bits says, and my axe. Discordant Vol says, the dough has to rise for a while, not going anywhere. Briar Rose says, choo choo with 100 bits. 29% to level 16 on the hype train. Oh my god. This movie's called Heliosorcery, by the way. Blackwing Hecate says, I do know I can consider the time we gave Hannah a bunch of money a historic achievement. Hannah, don't ask for evidence. That's witchcraft. Also, y'all crazy, chat. Sorry, I might have just read that one. MW1642 says, throwing a drop into the ocean that is this hype train. Heliosorcery is a good name. I'll give him that. I'll give him that. Woo! 30% to level 16. Oh my.
Prior to the mid-16th century, sun-centered cosmology was an abandoned concept, laying dormant between the dusty pages of ancient manuscripts. Whether noble or peasant, none denied the witness of their own senses, which testified to the truth of what Scripture declares, that the earth beneath their feet was at perfect rest.
No! Oh, it's just going out there and saying it. They're not even... This is like semi-professionally produced looking. I'm shocked. Clock Blockers gives 50 more tier 1 subs and gets us over level 16. Bittergrin with 100 bits says, okay, now I need to make a Helio-sorcerer for my next D&D character. Blackwing Hecate says, Helio-sorcery is a good name for a mono-white spellslinger deck with mostly Theros cards. Yeah, that sounds like it means something. Is that a Magic the Gathering joke? There are no captions for this, I'm sorry.
While the heavenly bodies moved overhead.
Not even like auto-generated ones, it's weird. Metal Gear Mandy, thanks for gifting a sub. 39% to level 17.
That this geocentric view of cosmology was widely held is confirmed by historian Andrew Dixon White, who was both an evolutionist and supporter of the heliocentric model. In his book, A History of the Warfare of Science with Theology, White points to a time in history when faith in the biblical record began to unravel.
I would imagine it was more framed as, hey, a lot of people believed this religious thing, but then we found evidence that it wasn't true, so then we started believing the thing we had evidence for. But that's apparently biblical truth unraveling. Bible is the only source of wisdom on the bingo card.
In the latter half of the 16th century, these evolutionary theories seemed to take more definite form. For there came, one after the other, 5 of the greatest men our race has produced: Copernicus, Kepler, Galileo, Descartes, and Newton. And when their work was done, the old theological conception of the universe was gone. The spacious firmament on high, the Almighty enthroned upon the circle of the heavens.
Sky Comet with 45 bits says, bandwagon fallacy. Correct.
And with his own hands, or with angels as his agents, keeping sun, moon, and planets in motion for the benefit of the earth, opening and closing the windows of heaven, letting down upon the earth the waters above the firmament, setting his bow in the cloud, hanging out signs and wonders, hurling comets, casting forth lightnings.
Holy shit, look at the November sub goal. I think that's blown out of the water. This is just new subs, by the way. I have more concurrent subs than this, but this counts like new subs for the first time subs. Hydrate. Jeez.
To scare the wicked and shaking the earth in his wrath, all this had disappeared. These 5 men had given a new divine revelation to the world, and through the last, Newton, had come a vast new conception, destined to be fatal to the old theory of creation. These men gave a new basis for the theory of evolution as distinguished from the theory of creation.
As the adept magician draws attention away from that which would expose his deception, the captivating theories of these 5 men directed the eyes of the people away from the one reliable detector of error.
Wait. On what are you basing the fact that you think the Bible is the one and only true, like, detector of error? Like, everything has to be measured against the Bible. You have to establish that first. Why do you think that? PK the Lost says, or rather, gifts a sub. Forrest Espion says, Hannah, you should show heliocentrism to Jake for a D&D idea, like a group of tieflings are practicing heliocentrism and are being persecuted by a violent cult of fundamentalist types of paladins who spread false rumors that heliocentrism is evil. It's kind of interesting. 42% to level 17 with 45 seconds left. Level 16 is fucking nuts. I can't believe we got this high.
We will soon see that these 5 men of science were in fact devout pupils of the earliest of magicians, their ideas springing not from observation and experiment, but from the ancient writings in which they were engrossed.
Oh my god.
To understand why such an attack was expedient.
Oh, a kitty did make an appearance, so that on the bingo card.
Sorcerers of this world, we must go back to the time when the heated dispute over cosmology began, the dawn of the Protestant Reformation.
Ancient wisdom, yeah. Jesus, what a crazy new record. Level 16 hype train. Whew! What a fucking awesome community. You guys are awesome.
The 16th century brought revolutionary changes to the Christian world. For over 1,000 years, The Roman papacy had withheld the key of knowledge from the nations whose kings had bowed to her presumed authority. During these dark ages, popes and priests blasphemously sat in the place of Christ as mediator between God and man. Locked in a prison house of superstition and fear, the people were taught that outside of Rome's favour, there was no salvation. As for Rome, her usurped dominion over the minds of men stood for as long as the words of life were concealed from the people. Desperate to perpetuate the moral paralysis, the clergy alone were permitted to read the Bible, the common people being forbidden under pain of death.
Well aware of the power of knowledge, papal policy withstood the flow of Greek culture from the East, and the West became exclusively Latin. The corrupt Latin Vulgate, read only by the priests, was the only Bible known during those dark ages. All Greek records of history, archaeology, science, and literature were held back in the Eastern Roman Empire, the capital of which was Constantinople. This led to the backward progress which characterized the Dark Ages, where technology, living standards, and morality all fell into decay.
Is this an idiot who thinks they're a genius? Not for the bingo card. For the bingo card, it has to be like... How would I put this? They basically have to say everyone else is stupid and I'm so smart. CC does this sometimes.
Under the oppressive priestdom. It was the absence of the light of knowledge, particularly that of Scripture, that made those ages dark.
Do I think if he had a southern accent, this video would be taken seriously? No.
Yet through the dreary centuries, brave souls at times stood up among the Roman clergy, daring to oppose the darkness. One such soul was John Wycliffe, who, in defiance of the spiritual tyranny, translated the Latin Bible into the English language. So great was Rome's fear that this Bible alone would expose her fraud, that over the following 2 centuries, she publicly burned all who were caught with this English translation. Such was the fate of John Huss, who took up the cause of Wycliffe in his native land.
Why is he an
of Bohemia.
anime character? He looks like he's a manga guy. Anti-Pretzel says, wonder if the destruction of the Library of Alexandria had something to do with humanity being set back a few centuries.
Meanwhile, the precious Bibles, bought at such great price, were tied around the necks of their possessors and burnt with them.
The Augustinian monk, Martin Luther, was one of many who groaned under the popish gloom. Frequently retiring to a Latin Bible chained to the wall of his convent, the superstitious fog began to lift from his mind. With enlightened vision and a heart stirred by the Spirit of God, Luther grew indignant with the corruptions of the Church. Casting off his monkish works, Luther bent his energies towards reform. Many shared his frustrations. All Europe needed was one to take a bold stand. All the while, the papacy reposed blissfully unaware of the gathering storm ready to sweep away her captives.
In 1517, Tetzel and his band of extortioners came to Wittenberg, selling papal indulgences. Through this artifice, the papacy promised the remission of sins for a bargained price. Seeing through the pernicious scam, Luther vented the unspoken protest of thousands by nailing his 95 theses to the door of his local church.
Sir, please just tell me why you don't think the Earth is round. Or don't think that the sun is the center of the solar system or whatever. Nah, I'm gonna start skipping around. I'm mostly curious about who produced this and why. Because, like, it has production,
In spite of Rome's best
you know?
efforts,
the Polish astronomer's theory had gained little ground against the Bible. Protestants at large spurned Copernicus owing to their leaders' attacks on him and to his close affiliation. According to the staff at Harvard University,
Erasmus Darwin, Charles Darwin's grandfather, was the first Briton to explicitly write about evolution. His main prose...
Alright, let's move on. I have heard of Happy Science. I have some of their stuff saved. Alright. Well, I assume you guys saw, but the Artemis rocket launch went successfully. It's on its way to the moon, I think. Maybe it's already there. Guess I don't know. I haven't kept up since it launched. We all know that CC, our favorite flat earther, by the way, recording in car, as you can see on the bingo card. Anyway, he had regularly, as the launch had kept getting pushed back. I think originally it was supposed to go at the end of October, and then there were some technical issues where the launch kept getting scrubbed, and he kept going, haha, they can't launch, because the Earth is flat, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, it launched, so it's time for his goalposts to shift immediately. Shifting goalposts on the bingo card. Steve with a Q says, nominally, CC is the exact opposite of Happy Science. Alright, let's check it out.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's 11/18/22, and once again, the Artemis, NASA has provided us with lots of material for us to pick through and go through and talk about. And possibly do a live show about, because it's about halfway to the moon now. Yeah, that's right, to the fake moon that's up there or something. You know, I'm thinking...
Holographic fake moon sun on the bingo card.
If they really do think that they're going to the moon, they must be like miniature rockets, you know, like about this big, you know, and that would be equivalent to, like, you know, if you were that small and you brought it down to scale, you know, when you were a rocket about this big, or a shuttle or something like that, and you were trying to creep toward the moon, which is in the dome, it would probably take you 3 days to get there. So we'll call them miniature rockets.
Chris, people see these things launch. You can go to launches and see them and see the rocket take off. You can see them do it.
Oh man, what bullshit. What fun. Whereabouts in the Atlantic Ocean do you think it crashed? Bermuda Triangle? Possibly. Or did it explode? Like, oh, talking about him. Ah, the delicate little snowflakes from Twitter.
Thanks, Moppy Muttons.
Oh no. They all quit. So now you're going to have to go out and find a real job. Yeah, that's right.
Chris, I'm pretty sure the engineers at Twitter... I'm so confused. So they were working at Twitter, but they're whiny for quitting Twitter, but now maybe they'll get a real job, even though the people who worked at Twitter were, like, you know, software engineers and people who kept the lights on and people doing real jobs. Like, again, I am not in any way, and never would, denigrate anyone's position, but Chris, objectively, the job you do, which is driving a van, takes less education than their job, and I would imagine you also get paid less, which I don't necessarily think is fair or right or whatever. But I would imagine you feel that someone's job's value is at least somewhat based on the money they make, knowing you. So do you think you make more than someone who worked as like any sort of coding anything at Twitter? It's very weird. Auntie Pretzel says, gotta remember, Chris is an old fart who thinks his hard work in a real job involves back-breaking work. Which is weird, because he's not even doing that. He drives a car, which again, is a valid job. But, like, it's not stereotypically what you would think of as, like, a blue-collar job. He just kind of, like, transports old people around. It's fine. It's weird. Clockblocker says, do you think if we strapped CC to a rocket and launched it at the sun, he would stop being a flat earther, or is he too far gone? I think he'd have bigger concerns if that happened. You mean moon? Yeah, that makes more sense. I think he would think it was all fake. Logarth says, don't need a job when they get 3 months severance and then like 100k to 300k in stock options because the company sold, which matures their options based on their contracts. Womp womp. I would have left Twitter too. He offered him like 3 months severance right before the holidays. I'd do that. I'd take the holidays, I'd take December off, and then probably in January I'd start looking for a job. I don't know, just like, why wouldn't you? Who would want to work for Elon Musk?
That's right, like what we're doing. You know, real jobs where you wake up, you get into your car, and you drive somewhere to an office. Yes, that's a real job. Not sitting at home, waking up at 8:59 and turning on your computer.
It is, because then on your computer you do whatever your job is, Chris. The location of the computer you're doing your job on is not relevant to whether or not it's a job. What the fucking weird boomer shit is this?
That's not a real job. The delicate little snowflakes. No more Kofa Mocha in the afternoon. No more massages after work. No more meditation in the afternoon. Oh, God. These generation of people that are working for these companies, they don't know how the fuck to work. They don't know what a real job is. They've been under this umbrella for years now, you know, doing nothing at work. Absolutely nothing. The only thing they're doing is they're basically censoring ship anybody that they want. Oh, we're gonna just hire this person and he's gonna censorship these 100 people and
Stone Corbell says maximum boomer energy.
That's all they do. That's it. It's pathetic. It's really refreshing watching now this generation go out in the workforce and actually have to work.
I don't even know what generation he's talking about. Millennials? Millennials are like 30. Millennials have been in the workforce for like a decade, Chris. What are you talking about? Older millennials are in their mid-30s. What are you talking about?
During
Logarth says it does suck for HB1 holders, though most of those dudes in the pics of people still left at Twitter are either chuds or basically keeping the job so they don't get deported, leaving their family and friends from the last decade or so behind. Yeah, it's fucked.
COVID, they were in lockdown, they were in their apartments and they couldn't fucking leave. They were so paranoid they couldn't breathe the air.
You're living in fear on the bingo card.
But yet, that's all been forgotten. Where is that bad air? Is it still around? I don't know. I never really witnessed the bad air. I was always outside working every fucking day.
Does Chris not understand how, like, respiratory illness works? That you can, like, spread germs through the air? That, like, airborne... It's a thing, Chris. Does Chris not believe germs are real?
When these people were pampered. That's why I call them delicate little snowflakes. It's a Friday, and it's Think About It Friday. And I'll tell you, there are many things to think about, but there's one thing you should really think about is why. Why you've been lied to, okay? Why all of this is happening now. Launching rockets off left and right, putting posts up from NASA that, saying they found a diamond planet, they found a meteor, they're landing something on a meteor.
I mean, there's a lot of private, like, industries working on rockets now. It's more in the news because it's just a thing that's happening in industry. I don't like the fact that privatization of space has seemingly begun, but we're in the preliminary stages of it, so it makes sense that it's in the news. Discordant Vol says he's one of those guys that believes in, quote, toughen up trips where you work on your grandparents' farm until you stop being weak. Clock Blockers says, I wonder if CC would agree with an oil rig worker that says his job is BS because all he does is sit on his ass all day. Just out boomer him, right? It's so relative, it's weird. Like, if you're doing a job and you're being paid for it, chances are there's probably a reason. If you're doing actual, like, any task, you're being paid for it for a reason. The task needs to be done. Alt Fact, thanks for 11 months, says Westchester County.
They're trying to distract you. And that's all that they do, is distraction. To make you think, to make you actually think that we're going to colonize something, that we're going to live on Mars, that we are going to go to the moon, that you one day...
We've been to the moon.
...you can become an astronaut, and...
I don't know if anyone can... Anyone has the opportunity, I guess, to become... Well, no, not everyone has the opportunity. Astronaut is still a pretty selective thing and is going to continue to be for a while. I think we're quite a while away from the aliens space trucker thing. Pretty sure astronaut's gonna be a pretty selective thing still for some time.
And do all these things. Oh yeah, you could work for...
The definition of astronaut is different, by the way. Just going into space doesn't make you an astronaut.
NASA, but you're not going to accomplish anything over there.
Because I think the original definition was basically someone who goes into space, but now William Shatner's been to space. You know what I mean? Non-astronaut people are going to space, so...
Okay. 99% of the people that work for NASA don't know what the fuck is going on. They're just assigned a project. It's very easy to keep this away from people, so they don't know, and they don't open their eyes, okay? And they don't think that looking at that post that I put up yesterday, and I looked at this pathetic picture.
Hydrate.
Drawing of Earth that was flat, and it did.
Dread Pirate Mick says, wait, is CC an Elon Musk fan now, but he believes rockets are fake? But also, he doesn't like anything he perceives as woke or left-wing, so I guess that's in conflict.
And they're actually showing this, and people are looking at it, and they're saying, yeah, you know, that does look like it's 3D. That does look like a ball, you know, and they just have, like, no fucking clue at all.
Flat Earth on the bingo card. Stone Corbell says, this joke from Steve with a Q can't pass unnoticed. Old man yells at cloud engineers.
Whatsoever. None. So my question is, there's not one lie. They've lied about everything. They don't just lie about going to the moon. They don't just lie about this. They lie about everything. And that's the only way that they can keep you distracted away from the truth, away from looking at flat Earth, away from looking at how fake Hollywood is, how satanic these people are. Look at Madonna. Do we even...
Look at Madonna. Chris, do we still have makes a reference from like over 20 or more years ago as if it's relevant on the bingo card? If so, that's definitely that. Chris, Madonna hasn't been relevant for like 20 years. Like, her career ended, like, shortly after 9/11, she put a terrible album out, and no one gave a shit about her after that. Madonna is not still popular. Puka, thanks for 24 months, says, holy shit, 2 years, appreciate all you do. I appreciate your subscription. Thank you. Fenekagami says, plus Chris probably believes the myth that Musk is a self-made man. Yeah, probably.
Recognize this creature anymore? That's right, I call her a fucking creature. She is a fucking creature. Look at her. I don't even recognize. I had to do a double take. I thought that was like her sister or something. Look at the satanicness. Look at
Satanism on the bingo card.
The bullshit with sports. Look at all the bullshit with politics. Think about it. They've got to lie about everything. But people are getting filthy rich off of those lies because people like me go for these lies. Well, I did at one point. Okay? And they donate money And they donate bullshit to these corporations. They think they're going to save an animal, a fucking whale. They think they're going to cure cancer. Where do you think all that money goes? Where do you think all those donations go? Right in the pocket of the owners. Goes nowhere. Cure cancer. What a
idiot thinks they're a genius now. Yeah. Logarth with 50 bits says she's a creature, CC, part man, part chicken.
fucking joke. They haven't done anything with it. You know what they've come up with? Ways to kill you. Medications. Everything. It's all bullshit. And it's all there to distract you. All of it. Every fucking thing. Even the cops around here, they pick and choose who they want to arrest. They let them
accidentally based
Mustang drive by at 120 miles per hour, and meanwhile they pull you over for going over a double yellow line. You know, I mean, it's all bullshit, dude. Everything. So my question is to you, why? Why, if we live on this happy-go-lucky spinning wet ball that we are going to go to Mars, colonate everything, and go to deep space and possibly find an Earth 2 and recolonize that, why would all of this be here? Why would the weather be so hard? I mean, just hurricanes. There's a snowfall happening right now that they're getting 7 feet of snow. Upstate New York, we got something like that, but it was 2 snowstorms, and they were in a row. We had one that brought down like about 2.5 feet, 3 feet. We had another one that brought down, I think, almost close to 48 inches of snow. So, I mean, but it was just incredible, you know. But, I mean, still, you know, they've got these planes flying around. God knows what the fuck they're putting in the sky.
That's chemtrails on the bingo card.
You know. They're enhancing storms.
Weather control on the bingo card. Wow, Chris is giving us everything today, isn't he? It's called climate change genius, says Sky Comet. Yeah.
They're distracting everybody to a point over prejudice, over religion, over politics, over sports. You name it. You name it. Over threats of you know, diseases, and everybody buys it. Okay? Everybody around you buys this except you. Because you are awake and you are a flat earther and you know and you see through this fucking nonsense.
Would I want to debate this guy? I'd love to talk to him. I've offered to talk to him. He never responds to me. It's very sad.
All right? And congratulations. Congratulations. You're there. You know.
Clockblocker says if you vacation to where Cece lives and you see you recording in his car, would you knock on the window and say hi or just avoid him? Oh, I would knock. I would knock. Is weather control believe sci-fi actually exists? No, I think it has its own space. If it ticks one space, it can only tick the one most specific to it. It doesn't tick all the ones above it, if that makes sense.
The sun and the moon are not real objects. You can't land on the moon. Okay? The moon is...
You can't land on the moon, I tell you. It's too soft. It's made of brie. You try and land on it, you're going to fall right through to the center, and that's where the Moonites live.
Probably 70 miles away. Can I prove that? No, I cannot. But if you look at the...
I mean, he said it, not me. He can't prove it.
Moon at night.
If you look at the moon, look at it!
And not. But if you look at the moon at night, on a nice...
You can tell because of the way it is.
Clear night. And you tell me that that's 286,000 miles away, or 246, whatever fucking number that they made up. You're delusional. If you look at that sun, but don't look at it too long, you might hurt your eyes.
Don't look at the sun. Don't look at the sun. Don't look at the sun. don't look directly at the sun.
And you think that's a star?
It is.
That's 93 million miles away. You,
on average,
are delusional. The sun and the moon are the same exact size.
They have the same angular size as we see them in the sky. That does not mean they are the actual same size. They're not. They're very, very different in size.
Chances of that happening in a real solar system model? 0.
They're literally not 0, though, because here we are, and that's the reality. And even just on paper, it's not impossible.
The solar eclipse. Chances of that happening on a real solar system model? 0.
No? Sky Comet says, don't look at the sun, CC. You'll get cataracts, you idiot. Clock Blocker says, when you meet CC, pull out a globe and have him sign it. He would probably chuck it at you and call you a Fed.
Chances of us being able to land something on an object that's moving in space that's hundreds of thousands miles away? 0.
I mean, that's just math. Like, it's math I can't do, but I'm not a mathematician. If you work for NASA, figuring out, like, the telemetry data for, like, all the stuff you need to do. Like, there are people who do, like, a basic version of this as a hobby or for fun, playing stuff like Kerbal Space Program. Like, figuring this stuff out is very possible, especially with computers. Forrest Espion says, Hannah, CC will not debate you, but ask Jake to make CC a D&D NPC with a small cult of 10. Small quest. CC's wife asks your party to knock some sense into him.
Okay. People don't understand once you live...
Chance of CC's wife putting up with his shit. 0.
Once you leave the area of our solar system, okay? If you did live on this solar system magic land, you'd be dropped off into space. It's like getting out of a car that's going 80 miles per hour. You're not going to go with the car, are you? No.
You actually would until you hit something, probably the ground. But yes, the conservation of momentum is a thing. I can actually demonstrate that. Look. Trampoline truck. I need a... Where is it? Trampoline on a truck. There we go. Yes.
Are you anti-Semitic?
Oh. There we go. See? So yes, that literally does happen. This is the conservation of momentum. It's one of the things Newton mathematically expressed. It's very important. This is dangerous, by the way, because external factors can, in fact, lead you to shift momentum. Friction and air resistance being factors. But they seem to know what they're doing, so it's fine.
Oh, you're done.
The issue is just that typically if you were to jump off a car or whatever, you're going to come down to the ground because the gravitational force of the Earth is going to pull you towards it. And once you hit the ground, friction is going to take place and you're going to lose all of your momentum very quickly. MSTB89 with 17 months says, woohoo, almost time for another sub, baby. I hope you and Baja have a happy turkey tofurkey day tomorrow. Thank you. Anti-Pretzel says space equals very effing mind-destroyingly huge. You, literally nothing in comparison by scale.
The solar system, the sun, and everything are moving at millions of miles per hour. How the fuck?
Because when we're discussing these big numbers, it depends on what we're talking relative to. All motion is relative. That seems like a big amount to you, but, like, we're on it. So, like, to us, it's 0. Because we're on it.
Could you possibly land something?
Math.
And that is like, I mean, really, it just how nobody sees this shit. Maybe they don't realize all of the lies. They have to they must revisit all the lies. That's what they have to do. They've got to revisit all the lies. You know, they say, well, I don't remember them telling us that. I don't remember us telling us that we were moving with the sun at hundreds of thousands of miles per hour.
If you don't remember that in school, I'm sorry, Chris. It's not our fault you didn't retain a specific fact about the solar system from school. You probably went to school 30 years ago. I'm sorry you don't remember that? Blackwing Hecate says, you may think it's a long way around the corner to the pharmacist, but that's just peanuts to space.
I don't remember learning about any of that stuff.
And obviously, Chris, it's impossible he forgot anything he learned in school. He's so intelligent.
We're moving at 66,000 miles per hour. There was spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. I don't remember any of that. I don't remember.
You don't remember any of it, but you also think that all children are indoctrinated with fake space, but you don't remember being taught about it. So, which is it?
Remember any of that. And that's exactly what they expect. You learned it in school. That's right. You learned it in school. Don't you remember? Oh, fucking A, man. Fucking A. It's so fun watching all of this unfold. It really is. And then now we got the Trump saga coming up. Oh, that's going to be great. A bloodbath between these two candidates if one runs. You know, it's great coffee table talk. Now remember, mouth shut on Thanksgiving, else you're not going to get a seat at the table.
Can you imagine being like the niece or nephew of Chris, and he's the crazy uncle at your Thanksgiving, and he tries to talk to you about chemtrails and how space is fake and how everyone else is so stupid?
Okay? That means no politics, no astronomy, no nothing. No fakeness. Don't tell anybody anything's fake. Oh no. Oh no. You're not be able to explain everything to them in 8 minutes.
Vast Lunacy. Vast Lunacy! You missed it! Earlier today we had the highest hype train we ever had. I'm sorry you missed it. It was magical. Vast Lunacy says, CC feels like the kind of guy who takes pride in forgetting. I've forgotten more about the fake moon than you've ever learned, Jack. Bittergrin says, first time I've ever heard astronomy on the list of forbidden topics. True! In this household, we don't talk about politics, religion, or the shape of the earth. If CC talked to an astrophysicist at NASA, do you think he would just scream at them, or would he actually listen? Probably scream. Vast Lunacy says, hey, that's hot. And Sky Comet says, yep, someone's definitely told him to shut up at Thanksgiving. Probably his wife.
No way. No, you're not going to be able to explain to them why you live on a flat Earth. You're not going to be able to explain to them that perspective, that we're not moving. You're not going to be able to explain to them how fake NASA is. Okay? You're not going to be able to explain to them how fake Hollywood is and how they're all fucking sold out creatures. Okay? They've all sold their souls to live in these $25 million mansions, driving around with these $300,000 cars. Okay? So don't envy these people. All right, so the next time you see a Ferrari rush by you, don't envy them.
Can we count this as inference his wife hates him? Why not? Sure, we're gonna have a big bingo dump after this video anyway. He did so many.
Feel sorry for them. Because they're going to pay for that. Not by money. No. No. It's not going to be by money, for my friends. Especially the football players. Especially the baseball players. You know. The golfers. Holy shit. How that is even a sport. How anybody could sit there and even watch a golf match is fucking beyond me.
He's so mad! KBS says, I'm glad I'm not going to my family's Thanksgiving this year. My cousin, whose child was saved by a surgery at Boston Children's, just sent out a Libs of TikTok meme. Ooh. Chromatic Cuttlefish says he's really salty about people who don't drive vans when you get right down to it. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Sky Comet says too much salt in that dish, CC. Like, I don't find golf entertaining to watch, but I don't care that other people do. I enjoy playing golf. Golf is fun. Both miniature and regular sized.
If you ever see me
although I know golf courses are a terrible usage of water and land and all that shit.
At a football game, you have my permission to contact the authorities. Somebody has taken over my body.
Did we already get bingo? Blackwing Hecate, let me see your bingo card. Just copy paste the web address at the top of the page. I like Mario Golf as a kid.
Oh, man.
Let's take a look. Accidentally based. Wife hates him. Free space. Reputable sources. Bible. Believe sci-fi tech. Hey, Blackwing Hecate. You did it. Cool. Alright, I'll write your name down, because you already have a gift sub. So I will write your name down for winning. Hooray. Jiba Hawk says Cece's mom with a link. Oh, God.
Foosball. You playing the foosball behind my back?
The only reason I'm doing this so I can go to school.
School? You going to school? Ah!
Sorry, Mama. I wanted to tell you.
That's Oscar-winning actress Kathy Bates.
You all gallivant with your fancy foosball friends at school while I'm sitting here all day with nobody to keep me company except Steve?
Yours truly says, remember Uncle Mortimer? Oh, God. I don't even want to know what...
Okay, we're about to head into war, but still... Hey, God's not dead.
Nope! Backing out on that. 1 second, let me write down the bingo winner, and then we can move on. We can keep playing bingo for fun. But yes, that is the official winner. Cool. Alright, back to Chris.
And if I'm not talking flat earth with you, then something went wrong.
Hey, Cult Comics, how
And
you doing?
I always will be. I always have. Because I know the truth out there. And it sucks. But it's fun watching, though. Every day is a popcorn day. Something new. You know, my I was in the office the last few days. I was going to try to do a couple of videos, but
did my thing
I'm not going to really
freeze?
get into it. But
1 sec.
I can't get my radio station to work, which I don't.
Why is it stuck? Hold on. Discordant Vol says, I'm not mad, you're mad.
I don't even really listen to. I just listen to the mumbling.
Sorry, everyone. The button got stuck. Like, I had set the button to change the screen, but it, like, wasn't doing it.
You know, in the background, I like that for some reason or another. So I couldn't get it. What did I have on? Static. Okay? That's what I had on. I had the radio on the channel, but it was static. Even that was encouraging. See, that's how we are. That's how us flat earthers are. We can't watch movies anymore. We can't watch TV anymore. I can't remember the last time.
That sounds like a nightmare. Just not enjoying your life ever because you're wrapped up in such an insane delusion as flat earth.
I actually sat down and watched a movie. I can't. Oh, wait a minute. Yes. Before I was a flat earther. I answered my own question. That's great. Oh, man. Anyway. I hope everybody has a good weekend. I'm going to try to put something out. I love this cold, crisp air that we're having now. Thank God it's not snowing yet. We almost got a snowstorm yesterday, but we didn't materialize to anything. I think upstate New York got something. But the P1000 loves cold, crisp days. Let me put it to you that way. I'm going to fuck around with it I think something's the matter with my GPS system with the sky tracker with Google. I don't know, because what I thought I was zooming in on, I thought that was a star, but something alpha, I don't know. Anyway, I gotta fuck around with it. These are all things we have to do as flat earthers. We've got to gather material up to explain to people that everything up there in the sky is an amazing light show, and that's all it is. It's not millions of miles away. It's not light years away. It's I don't know how high the dome is. Is it 1,000 miles up? Is it 70 miles up? Is it 80 miles up? I don't know. I don't know. None of us know. We can't get up there. Everything's been militarized, okay? And if you can't see that, why would anybody give a shit if you go up there? Why would anybody give a shit if I went and turned around, built a fucking rocket on my own, and went up all the way up past the atmosphere?
Chris, can you build a rocket?
Why would they care about that? Why would they care if I went down to an Iceland?
They would care, by the way, because rockets have a tendency to crash or explode if you don't know what you're doing right, and that could lead to hurting other people. So, Choking Ouroboros says CC is the embodiment of the laugh cry emoji boomers use on Twitter. Discordant Vol says, I'm not sad, you're sad. Yours truly, the one pony, says, saw a Jehovah's Witness standing outside my defunct Chase Bank the other day.
And just...
Didn't a flat earther make a rocket a few years ago and crash and die? Yep.
Walk around. Why would they care about it? Because they're protecting what? Polar bears? Where? There's nothing living down there, you idiots.
Polar bears are North Pole, right? Penguins are South Pole?
Why would they care about that? Okay? These are things you've got to think about. And then you open up Flat Earth. And then you understand why...
I thought so. Yeah, he's got it wrong.
All of this exists. I thank you for subbing. I thank you for your viewing my videos. I'm going to be a part of your life.
So that's what Chris is up to. He's not taking the Artemis... He's not taking the Artemis thing very well. Ooh, he filmed something at work.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's 11/23/22, and thank you, NASA, for giving us a preview of what's to come in the future. Apparently, in 2024, we'll be launching our first manned mission to the moon. This was just a little test run, you know, a preview of the sloppiness and the nonsense that's about to be around the corner for us. There's no way in hell they're going to be doing this on 24. It's just not...
I think it already got pushed because some of the stuff with the preliminary Artemis stuff got pushed, so I think it's closer to like 2026, 2025, maybe. Now that they're planning on doing the first man stuff, I thought.
Chance in hell. After witnessing this debacle of total nonsense, where once again we have a picture of Earth, 90% cloud covered. You can't tell a continent from...
Once again, so flat earthers ask for full pictures of Earth from space. The recent Artemis rocket indeed took a photo like this. So you go, here, flat earthers, here's the photo you're all asking for. And then they go, well, it's all fake anyway.
I don't know what it is. Is it a marble that I'm looking at? Remember those little marbles we had when we were kids? Yeah, just take a picture of it. That's the picture NASA provides for you. And when it swung around and took a picture of Earth, when it was this small little dot, and then all of a sudden it's 8 times the size. Wow. Wow. And once again, where are the stars? Where are they? Because
Chris, you use a camera. You must know how exposure works. If you exposed the camera for the light of the stars, it would blow out the image of the Earth because there's so much light coming from the Earth relative to the stars. The brightness levels differ so much you can't have both in the image without editing it. You would have to separately cut out the Earth and then take a separate image of just everything else and then composite them, but you don't want composite images. Citosaurus with 200 bits says, hope you're having a better week than I am. Got sick for the first time in 7-ish years, and Thanksgiving has to be postponed till next weekend. Worked from home today and I'm just chilling, marveling at CC's stupidity before therapy. I did the brain poke with the Q-tip, but the test was negative, so at least there's that. That's good. Glad you don't have COVID. Bittergrin says, let, and that's it. Andy Pretzel says, flat earthers want pictures of proof the planet is round. Everyone provides exactly that. Flat earthers, no, it's fake. This is the Patrick Wallet meme. Yours truly, the One Pony says, by the way, those Native Americans in the Chick Tract, Crazy Wolf, were Navajos. Oh. Chromatic Cuttlefish says, CC, let's go through this again. Small, far away. Small, far away. Not the same thing.
I don't see any stars. We're in 2022 right now, and we have one of the best availability of photography out there, HD, digital, and there's no stars still, and they'll never be able to ever do that, because space doesn't exist. Okay, what you're looking at are cartoons, what you're looking at is fake, and then what you're looking at is just total nonsense. I mean, look at the photography of the moon. There's the dark side of the moon. It's just a big gray. It's like
they can't get as good of a picture because it's not lighted, Chris. Hydrate. It's not illuminated.
Like me photographing this piece of white paper and then maybe drawing a little 3D crater and having it go like, maybe about as fast as my arm goes, like this. Oh my. It does surprise me nobody in the below in chat room is even discussing Artemis. I would be, because it's the biggest joke out there, the biggest bullshit lie, amongst others, amongst evolution, the moon landing, all of it, nonsense, dinosaurs. You see, the lies
Does Chris not
that
believe
the
in dinosaurs?
What they called conspiracy theories were, JFK and 9/11 and all that other nonsense.
9/11 out of nowhere on the bingo card.
That those are all distractions. Yeah, I agree that they are lies, all of them. But they're just distractions to keep you talking about nonsense and having your friends look because you're bringing up JFK and you're bringing up Twin Towers and you're bringing up many other things like the moon landing, and they're there to keep your friends saying, that's the wacko, that's Mr. Wacko right over there. So whatever he says, don't believe him. And then one day you stumble across flat Earth. See, you've been discussing all this other nonsense that you didn't know were all distractions at one point to keep you away of finding the most important thing that you found out. All right, and that's why people don't take you seriously. Okay?
Is that why?
Because you brought up different things in different times of your life, and they look at you as a conspiracy theorist.
You are a conspiracy theorist.
Is a word, guys. Remember that. Conspiracy to commit something. That is an actual word. Yet the news will make it look like it's got the definition of people who are looking at things that everybody knows are true, but you think are a lie. It's funny, guys, isn't it? But don't worry, people will get it. They're starting to get it. They're starting to understand that the Earth is flat. They're starting to understand that it's motionless, that it's everything up there is moving and you're not going anywhere. And all this whole Mars mission, moon mission, and all this other nonsense is another distraction of bullshit, to reinforce that you live on a spinning wet ball in space. Thank you for subbing and thank you for viewing my videos. Let me be a part of your life.
Jesus Christ, Chris. There's a new chick tract. Oh boy. I feel like the chick tracts haven't been nearly as good since Jack died. Although the image of the gorilla with Daddy on it's pretty funny. This Cornet Vole says, God, the pain in that laugh. Where the furries at? Is this furries? Someone turn this into a meme and just title it The Invention of Furries. Or The Introduction of Furries to the World. Fast Lunacy says, hey Hannah, have you seen the lore of Goncharov on Tumblr? Even though it's for fun, it reminds me of how conspiracies misinformation spread. I haven't. Hold on, here's a link. This is a link to the page, so you can just get a direct snap of the image if you'd like. Thanks, Occult Comics. Ooh, I think we're gonna need Boxy for this one. Let's check it out. This is one of those election denier types. This is about the midterms.
Greetings. I'm the California man. And
Hydrate.
I'm sick at the moment underneath the weather.
Actually, real quick, let me get more water. My throat's kind of dry, and I definitely need some. Oh yeah, I still gotta upload the Boxy emote too.
Or whatever you want to call it. It's not COVID though, because COVID doesn't exist. So
That's absolutely untrue. It does. Please get vaccinated. I've been vaccinated and boosted recently. Please do these things. I recently got a booster for COVID and I got a flu shot. Please do it.
excuse me. I most likely just have a cold or the flu or something like that. So
Oof. Famous last words.
And I haven't been vaccinated either for that stuff, which is why I'm going to be alive.
Nope, those are the famous last words. Put those ones on the... Ooh. What are you gonna do? Stab me? Says man. Stabbed to death.
For more than 3 years from today's date. But okay, so I put 2 videos on previously where my mic was messed up. So now my mic is fixed. Got a new microphone. And my voice is messed up because I'm sick. All right, so let's talk about...
Definitely not COVID, though.
Election fraud. Right?
Yikes.
So people do not split their vote. They do not split their vote. So we have right here for Arizona. Here's Congress. Majority of Arizona's red.
People do split their vote. I find that odd, too. I can't say I understand why people split their vote, but people do. Vast Lunacy with a link. Yours truly, the One Pony, says, I swear, the YouTube bots are awful on determining what is fact and fake news, like Fox, yeah. Can I just... I don't have a New York Times subscription. And I don't want to put in my email. Hold on. Does it make me put in any information, or can I just log in with Google? Let me try it. There we go. Wait. No, stop making... Okay, no, I've reached my limit of free articles. I can't. Even though I haven't... Actually, incognito window works. Let's try it. Nope, it does not work. So, can't read it. Sorry.
And then...
Citosaurus says, someone from my state on Tumblr decided to show the state with all the red parts filled in and is like, how is this possible? How are we blue when there's all this red on the other side of the mountain? Washington is blue because more people live on the West Coast than in Spokane or the various farms and prisons. She was obliterated.
And, oh, really? So, majority of Arizona's red, but it's just going to go blue for Senate, right?
Oh, he's literally doing the thing. He's doing the thing where he doesn't understand population density. Great.
Majority is red, and it's going to go to Democrat for governor? Really?
Well, clearly it's not majority Republican. Just because the majority of the counties lean red doesn't mean that the majority of people do. There are counties with far more people in them.
Okay. And then they're still trying to decide. It's like Tennessee, really? Over here, all red and what? Are these people trying to figure out? Well, I don't know. Maybe I want a Republican Congress representative, and maybe I want a Democratic Senate representative. Really? People do not split their vote like that. It doesn't happen. People don't vote for a Republican Congress representative and then a Democrat Senate representative or a Democratic governor. That's
right, but like your Congress representative is going to be determined based on how people in your particular district vote, whereas Senate's going to depend upon how people in your state vote overall. Do you see the issue? You don't have to split your vote in order for that to happen. Votes get split because the way we determine these contests is different. Gerrymandering is a thing. Steve with the Q says the white spaces are where there were no Senate races. Briar Rose says gerrymandering exists and land doesn't vote.
It's not how it works. Especially the Democrats here in America are ticked off at the Democratic Party.
This is what I mean. This is what I mean. I mean, we're having a conversation. Hold on a minute.
Oh, that's a beautiful CC emote you've made. Occult Comics, holy shit. Spokane, sorry.
And then we have this.
If the Democrats pull off some kind of victory in the midterms, I will be very, very surprised and admittedly a bit suspicious. Because only...
Man, Tim Pool's a big piece of shit.
Yeah. So, there was widespread fraud.
No, there is no evidence of that.
In the 2020 election, there were reports of...
Wait, did he call Tim Pool a Democrat? Stone Gorbell says, Tim Pool jump scare.
Ballots in the trash here in California, which was not counted. People never bothered to look into that. They just said, oh, it's not true. Didn't even bother to look into it.
Oh yeah, I saw his tweet. I saw.
So yeah, they have they're basically following the way Russia works. I mean, so the so-called Democratic Party isn't for democracy at all. And they claim that Trump and Republicans are in collusion with Russia when that's not how it works. I believe the so-called Democrats are in collusion with communism, the Chinese and the Russians, because now, American elections are just like Russian elections. So, but yeah, so this doesn't work, okay? And again, we have New Mexico voted blue, and then but they're still trying to figure out. I mean, really? Do you really think Democrats are going to vote in a Democrat Congress representatives and they'll be like, well, maybe we actually want a Republican Senate representative? Really? They don't do that. And it's vice versa. Republicans don't do that either.
Again, I don't think he understands how we decide Senate versus House and governor. I don't think he understands that one is determined by counties and the other is determined by a statewide vote. I think he fundamentally doesn't understand how America's voting system works. Death Guard Elite says, according to the NHS, I'm eligible for the autumn booster for COVID-19, but the letter they sent me doesn't tell me why exactly I'm eligible. Should I book the appointment anyway? Yes. Yes. If you have the opportunity, take it.
And like I said, here in California, people are not happy with the Democrats. And
maybe your friends aren't. I'm sure you hang around people who have similar political leanings to yourself, which is fine, but California is majority blue. Mass Lunacy says, damn, he's really struggling to speak. You would think that a fake virus wouldn't be kicking his ass like that. Yeah, his, sounds like he's struggling a little bit, which is not great.
In the previous election this year in California, not this midterm election, but the election before that, they did some shenanigans where I went to my polling place. It was closed, so I had to go to, there's only one polling place open according to the website for my city in California where I am. So I had to go there. Everybody in the city had to go there. And if you weren't, that wasn't your usual place, your ballot was provisional. And then after that election was over, this is the previous election this year, not the midterms, but the previous one we had this year in California. At the end of that election, California Secretary of State's website claimed that for my county in California, only about 70,000 people voted. That is less than 70% of the population in the city where I live. That's less than 70% of the population.
I mean, a 70% turnout would be quite high, to be honest. I think, isn't voting at like, I guess I don't know, it depends on the age group, but as an average, 70% would be very high. Stone Corbell says, yeah, limiting polling places sucks, and guess what, bro? It's largely caused by Republican policies.
That's not the whole county, obviously. It's just one city. But according to what the California Secretary of State website about the first election this year, only about 70,000 people voted for my county. Oh, how they came up with that? Well, because when I went to vote in person, everybody was there at this one polling location. They closed all the other ones down. Like I said, they told everybody there that if this wasn't your usual polling location, your ballots would be provisional. So you can still vote, but your ballots would be provisional. So yeah, I'm guessing they just threw all the provisional ballots away.
You have no evidence of that. You can check and make sure that your ballots are taken if they're provisional. There are websites where you can go and check. And that way you can also cure your ballot if anything happens where they need you to, like, do anything.
So that was the previous election in California this year, not the midterms. Midterms is the second election in California for 2022. But yeah, and I complained to the California Attorney General. He doesn't care. I actually sent a formal complaint to Fox News, but they're controlled oppositions. They don't care either.
Oh, that's a bingo card spot we haven't gotten in a while. Fox News is too left-wing. Discordant Vol says, oh, hey, it's the Box 3 conspiracy.
Yeah, so they are... So the so-called Democrats, who are...
So-called!
Not for democracy, have figured out a system to steal the elections, and they're going to continue to do it every time. And you think about it. You know, they continue to do it until they're stopped. And you think about it.
I would like to point your attention to the box in the corner that says, we do not agree with this video or any hate speech, disinformation, or calls to violence that may be implied by the content of this video. This show is for educational and commentary purposes only to point out the active danger that exists in the conspiracy theory movement within the United States. Prior Rose says, I moved from the major city in our state to a suburb county, and voting is so much easier in this majority Republican county. The Republican on the election board blocks any move to make voting easier in the metro area. Shocking.
Okay, which political party has been having negative population growth? Not Republicans. Republicans, conservatives are still having lots of babies per couple. The so-called Democrats, though, are not. They're entering into same-sex marriages.
Okay.
And they are aborting their kids. They've been having negative population growth.
What?
They haven't had the numbers for years, which is why they want to legalize illegal immigrants.
What?
Because they have not had the numbers.
Yeah, why does he think politics are genetic? My parents both vote Republican consistently. My dad's a huge Trump supporter. I am not. What the fuck is he talking about?
For years. It's that simple. And now the leaders of the Democrats have figured out how to manipulate elections to their favor every single time. And they're going to continue to do it.
They're favored because their policies are more popular than Republican non-policies. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
So we're not going to...
Oh no, they cracked the code how to do better in elections by giving constituents things that they want, even if it's not ideal.
You know, be able to win through elections anymore, obviously. We need to stand up and be heard and say the uncomfortable truth. And there are people that talk about on the CIA's website, America's no longer listed as a democracy. Gee, I wonder why.
Jesus.
Thanks for watching.
This guy should be on a watch list. This guy's more recent, and this guy I think is a big potential for actually doing some shit. He scares me. Hydrate.
There are some things that are too dangerous to talk about. Like, what year is it? Most people think it's the year 2022, but it's always now. And it's the computer that tells us what time it is, what day it is. We assume many things on
Does he think all clocks are computers?
this fake Earth. And the more you know, the worse it gets. You're looking at old footage of Stonehenge. It's all fake. It's like Disneyland. All of these old artifacts look fake and engineered. We can't even go to the moon.
We've been to the moon. We're going back.
We got this new footage of Robot Biden and it's Westworld. So bad.
Maybe we saw this one because I remember him saying this.
People were talking about the outfit like it's Joseph Stalin. But pay attention to the movements. It's like Boston Robotics coming at you. It's so lifelike. It's freaky.
Is that Jeremy? No. Stone Corbell says his videos are so samey. Who could tell?
When you look at it, center, you know, future brain on behalf of the dark.
Yeah, we already watched that one, I think. One second. All right.
So I believe that in so many ways I'm a conduit for the
Lord Gaia is a waste of bandwidth. Oof. Here's a little Vice thing about a cult that has some conspiracy sort of beliefs.
I orgasm like a woman every time I orgasm, as much as I do as a man, and often more as a woman than I do as a man.
They start talking about Serge as if he's a god.
Love is the truest and highest form of intelligence.
This is Serge Ben-Hayon, and back in 1999, Serge was bankrupt. Lucky for him, he had an epiphany while sitting on the toilet. Now he makes millions selling...
That's where I have my epiphanies, too. All toilet thoughts.
Miracles and strange ideas about sex to thousands of rich people who think he is God. But not everyone agrees.
The group a jury has deemed a socially harmful cult.
Unimed's founder is not a doctor. Serge Ben Hayen is a former bankrupt tennis coach.
He is bad news. He has some very sick attitudes to human beings. He's a sleazebag.
A man who tells us that he is a descendant of a great line of teachers from Buddha to Jesus, that he's the reincarnation of Leonardo da Vinci.
He preys on vulnerable people. He cares about nobody except himself. He's a monster.
Serge sitting on the toilet and giving birth to a cult is kind of symbolic of the quality of the whole thing, really.
The organisation that Serge leads is called Universal Medicine. Has 2,000 followers in Australia, with numbers growing in Europe, the US, and the UK. Yet has been dogged by accusations of abuse and brainwashing. And in 2019, an Australian jury found that an allegation that it is a socially harmful cult was substantially true.
It has to be said that he does destroy relations.
Thanks for the link, Forrest Espion. Interesting. Thank you. We might actually get to watch it today because someone already won bingo, so it's not like a concern of tampering bingo.
He does destroy other people's lives.
But to his flock, Serge isn't a cult leader at all. He's their new messiah, the reincarnation of Leonardo da Vinci, a mystical healer who can see the future.
Has anyone been like, paint something? Can he paint? Can he design? Like, mechanical shit? Has anyone checked?
And says there's a master race of 9-foot-tall aliens who go around sniffing humans.
Spirits have a mid-grey coloured thin body, long fingers. They are all equally 9 feet tall and have no feet.
But for every person who worships Serge, there are more who despise him. Esther Rocket
No feet, huh?
has been on a mission to fight universal medicine ever since she had a hands-on healing session with Serge in 2004. Back then, he was still inviting women to his house.
How do they walk? They got little cloppies. They got hooves. It's a guess. I genuinely don't know.
For treatments including esoteric breast massage.
Serge decided that he should read my ovaries. I was pretty unimpressed, and
Baha, would you like to take part in some esoteric breast massage with me?
I said immediately,
Baha is my wife, for the record. I'm not harassing someone. Show feet guy's gonna be disappointed. True. Discordant Vol says, yeah, it's metric, duh.
no, I don't want that. But he put a bit of pressure on, and he sort of made out that I was overreacting, and he did put his hands on my lower abdomen, just above the pubic area, and the first thing he said to me was, when you were 5 years old...
I just want Baha to read my ovaries, that'd be divine.
A man in your life let you down. He kept going up these ages until he reached my teenage years, and he sort of said that a man in my life had tortured me. And that's when I got this idea that Serge was not really a healer, he was a predator.
Esther was suspicious of Serge, but had already booked a ticket for one of his group healing workshops, so went along to check it out.
He had about 60 people in this room on treatment tables, and he'd closed all the curtains so that it was completely dark. People would have these very strong physical reactions. They'd start shaking, some people would start screaming, they'd cry, and he said that some of the emotional reactions was because some of the people in the room had been angels in a past life, and they'd been persecuted and tortured, and they'd been raped. So I came out of that feeling pretty traumatized, I guess, and even more worried. I thought again about going to the police, but what do you tell them? This guy's doing exorcisms on people.
Several years later...
Maybe this guy has a cult? First name bunch of numbers says overreacting or overreacting.
Esther was alarmed by news reports about the growth of universal medicine. She started publishing investigations about Serge online, and in 2015, he sued her for defamation. But when the case was put in front of a Supreme Court jury in Australia, they came down on Esther's side. Not only that, they declared that universal medicine is a socially harmful cult. They said that Serge was a charlatan who made fraudulent healing claims and had indecently touched clients. They also said he had an indecent interest in girls as young as 10 who stayed in his house while he was giving them tennis tuition.
One of the girls that stayed in Serge Ben-Hayan's house was Miranda Smith, and she moved into his home. She was a tennis pupil. She met him when she was 13. She moved in when she was around 14 and lived with him pretty much full time for a few years. She's now married to Serge.
Serge was married to someone else when he had his epiphany, but there's
Well, he needs to be in prison. Forrest Espion says, Hannah, why do you think so many cult leaders are abusive, cruel people? What causes this? I think that the kind of people who become cult leaders are cruel. Like, I think it's that specific. They're the kind of people who want control. They're narcissistic, like... What's the word I'm thinking of? Whichever cluster personality disorder is. Narcissism. Discordant Vol says, before stream ends, please link a Discord if you have it so I can show you the golden brown awesomeness. Okay.
little sign of a grudge between the two women. Serge likes to keep it in the family. Today, both of Serge's wives help lead universal medicine. Many families have been torn apart.
Ew. Occult Comics has done some fan art and it says, it's hairs. I walk on my leg hairs. And it's an alien. Ah! One sec. You might hear a vacuum, chat. It will be done in a moment.
With parents,
Brackwing Hackety says, keep it in the family. Oh, yeah.
kids, husbands and wives abandoned by their loved ones. That's what happened to Robin Clifford, whose marriage fell apart after his wife chose to devote herself to universal medicine.
I kept telling myself it was just a phase. Oh no, it was a lot more dangerous than that.
His ex-wife Anita discovered universal medicine while grieving for her parents. Robin says that over the course of just 2 years, the woman he'd fallen in love with disappeared completely.
Up until the death of her mother, she was great, actually. Just to the point I was starting to think, do you know what? I really love this woman. You know, bang, it all went pear-shaped on me.
So fucked up how cults prey on, like, vulnerable people. And we're all vulnerable at different times in our lives. We're all susceptible to this kind of thing if given the wrong set of circumstances. It's fucked.
Tore the inside out of her and replaced it with something else.
A number of people he's treated have been severely ill. Judith McIntyre met Serge while suffering from cancer. Immediately, Serge saw an opportunity.
Spread to organs, and I've got very little time. And the truth is, I feel excited.
Judith McIntyre. In the end, she left Serge around 1.4 million Australian dollars. That was the majority of her estate. So this was a case of these followers literally choosing Serge over their children.
According to universal medicine, if parents leave money to their kids, both they and their children will suffer when they are reincarnated in the next life. This is pretty convenient when many of your followers are rich old people.
I have seen one will that somebody forwarded to me where a person who owns a business, reasonably well off, she's left everything to Serge and his daughter Natalie. People were leaving him money for some time. These weren't isolated events.
Life must be tough when someone you love falls under Serge's spell. If he's not trying to get you written out of your parents' will, Serge can usually be found pumping people's heads full of strange ideas about sex.
We're robbed of a richer aspect of making love. But we're not robbed of that at the making love or the sexual point. We're robbed of that at the livingness point. In other words, we're not living our immortality. We're not living our wholesomeness.
While us mere mortals are forced to stay in our sexual lane, Serge claims that when he climaxes, he experiences both the male and female orgasm simultaneously.
When you orgasm as a hermaphrodite, the orgasm is quite spectacular.
It's unlikely that these are triggered by porn, however, which universal medicine hate. A man who went along to one of their group sessions claims he felt a follower playing about near his rear end. When asked why, the follower said that he had been pulling out a bad energy snake out of his anus.
Baja, you want to pull an energy snake out of my anus? Or put one in? Discord in full says so, butt stuff, right? No.
Apparently, they can take up residence down there if you watch too much Pornhub. Serge also says that when a man ejaculates inside a woman, she takes on board all of his bad energy.
It's absolutely astonishing, the power that he has to convince my wife that I was a monster.
Universal medicine's theories about alcohol are weird too.
He
Discord in full says, okay, asked and answered.
teaches that when you drink alcohol, it causes a break in your aura, and so that entities and evil energy can enter you. If you drink more, then at night time, when you jump into bed, these entities will leave your body and rape the women in your household.
What? Logard says, God damn it, Hannah, I was drinking. Luckily, it was just water.
For example, if I had an entity that was sexually equal...
G-Socks 1919 says, if I could feel the female orgasm, I would never leave the house. Have you considered HRT? I've said too much.
While I sleep at night, and it leaves me at night, and it goes and rapes my daughters while I sleep.
Kids also get a raw deal with universal medicine.
Links between universal medicine and a family and community services office in northern New South Wales has prompted the matter to be referred to the Child Protection Watchdog.
Serge has said that children living with disabilities or who have been sexually assaulted are being punished for their errors in a previous life, that they might be the reincarnations of corrupt politicians or evil dictators.
Gets me unpopular, these things, but I have to say it anyway. If you have been sexually abused, then you have been an abuser.
It probably doesn't help kids either when their parents believe eating just one meal a day can bring them closer to God.
There was a case in Lismore where a 10-month-old baby was admitted to hospital, to the emergency room, nearly dead due to near starvation. And the parents were very close adherents of universal medicine. I think he told his followers that carrots are as bad as heroin, that kind of thing. I mean, this is mad stuff.
While many of Serge's ideas may seem ridiculous, whether it's the heroin carrots or the anal energy snakes, they have a very real impact on people's lives. Universal medicine has hundreds of followers in the UK. One mother lost custody of her child in 2020 after refusing to cut ties with the group, whose strange ideas seem to be catching on in Britain.
I was at home with the kids, and she came home. She started burping all over the place, going, bleh, bleh. And after a while, we said, what on earth are you doing? And she said, I'm getting rid of evil spirits.
Serge isn't capable of miracles, but his reinvention from failed tennis coach to international cult leader feels like something approaching one. This is a man, remember, with no medical qualifications, yet still, people pay thousands just to hear him speak. Although Serge lost his court fight with Esther, maybe he still has one ace up his sleeve. A master race of extremely tall aliens with no feet who he says are keeping a constant watch over humanity. He says that with his help, his followers can become more highly evolved than the rest of us schmucks walking on Earth. And he says these aliens can sniff out highly evolved humans as they walk among us.
It is said that a spirit can smell a son of God.
Fact. And that happens everywhere. You can be in a train, in a bus, you are being smelled all the time.
Whether these aliens are real or not, universal medicine continues to grow and Serge continues to lead it.
Wow. That's messed up.
The video that you're about to watch about?
It's about signs. And the artifacts, we've got a lot of them. Quite a few of them are kind of strange. Go all the way back beyond Babylon. In fact, they go all the way back to the Tower of Babel itself. These little reptilian-looking idols with the elongated
Reptilians on the bingo card.
heads, these were discovered, hundreds of them, outside of, right around the site of Eridu, where the Tower of Babel once was. Now, speaking of serpents and serpent gods, this image back here, by the way, comes right off of the walls of the actual tomb of the Pharaoh of the Exodus. That's the priest of Ra right there, throwing his staff down.
The Exodus didn't happen as far as actual Egyptology and archaeology exists, or like as far as they're concerned, so what are you talking about?
Become a snake. When Moses went in before Pharaoh with his staff, he threw it down before all of the door court of the priests of Pharaoh himself in his lair. And that staff turned into
My people are different reptiles, different group.
a serpent. Was that a message to the spirit behind all the gods of Egypt? And in fact, every one of the plagues was a symbol, a sign, a representation of one of the gods of Egypt, all of them leading to the end. And the 9th plague...
It bugs me that he's tapping the screen and you can see like the LEDs glitching out when he taps. Stop it. Don't touch it.
9 is always a number of urgency, like 1 short of 10, like you're almost at the end. There were 10 plagues. Right here you have Ra, the sun god, the 9th.
Oh my lord, Occult Comics says, how Hannah Baha have sex? I am very confused. How can two beings who live inside my computer have Hudala? Is it possible for the people who live in my TV to also have Wabomba? Da Bongaboo time. Oh my god. I have seen many of them say they do. Hannah and Baha, despite only existing for 3 hours at a time on Twitch section of my computer, claim to have awooga time. I am confused. This video isn't helping. Jesus. D with Goblin says, oh no, I slept in and missed most of the stream. Looks like someone particularly fine foil too. Also, figures he just pointed to what looks like Horus, not a human. It's almost as if cookers don't actually know their mythology.
9th god to be challenged. The falcon-headed sun god. That's the sun disk on top of his head. Encapsulated, owned by the serpent. And then there would be 3 days of darkness. Said it was darkness so thick that you could feel it. Just like Jesus was in the tomb for 3 days. Whatever the case, on this occasion, the 9th plague, all in Egypt knew that the sun god Ra, you're seeing a priest thereof, with a staff becoming a serpent. Ra must have known that his light had gone out, and a more powerful god had just come in. All right. This is Trey Smith of God in a Nutshell, and we're about to take a journey together into the ancient world. Oh my goodness, this is a sharp clip.
Railcast, thanks for 22 months, says, I can't believe I've been through almost 2 years of this. Me too. Fast Lunacy with 70 bits says, this reminds me of when my teachers first got smartboards and would slap the shit out of it, being too used to chalkboards. And Blackwing Hecate says he's worse than the Mud Fossil University guy. At least he only jabs at it with a feather.
Cliff, look at the edge of that. Now, what's interesting in Egypt's journey, did you know that the Hebrews, the slaves, danced out with all of the Pharaoh's gold? But coming back to Ra, Ra was the largest god of all Egypt. Well, save for Pharaoh himself, the god king of all earth, the actual sun god. And it's always the firstborn of Pharaoh that becomes the next sun god, the next god king, the literal son of God to all Egypt. And it was on the 10th
Oh my god, stop tapping! What is he doing?
plague, the last
Ah, my brain! He's just gonna break his TV!
plague, where they were asked
Like, what's even the point?
to paint the symbol of the Tav,
Ah, stop!
the 22nd letter, the last letter of the Hebrew.
Tea with Goblin says, the largest gourd of Egypt. He parked the car in Harvard Yard.
Alphabet. This is its pre-Canaanite form right here behind me, coming all the way down to the last letter. Cross, meaning sign or mark, having a numeric value of 400. But they were to paint the blood of the lambs, the Passover lambs, on their doorposts.
Blackwing Hecate says the pharaoh was Horus, son of Ra, Sai. And Vast Lunacy says maybe this isn't a conspiracy video, but a stress test for that screen.
And they were to do this specifically on the 14th of Nisan, the first Passover, the exact day that Jesus would be crucified on the cross. Nearly 1,400 years later, be crucified on Passover, the Passover lamb, as if it were a sign. Sign or mark. That's what the symbol of the Tav means. It's the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Tav, just like the letter T, even with the same sound as the word truth. The Aleph to the Tav, the first and the last. Aleph all the way down to Tav. This is the letters in their pictographic pre-Canaanite form.
First name punch number says the way he keeps pronouncing God like God is starting to get to me.
And here they are, the same letters in their...
By the way, this video is 2 hours and 40 minutes long, if you wonder how long he can talk about this.
3. Ship was lowered, 3 little strike, or the sun god, a later version of the opening sun god. Satan was going to and fro in the earth when he spotted Job to come and test Job. Genesis 9, we have the from the tree of life and eat. Well, this is the Normer palette in my hand. Serpent goddess. All of it comes back to right here, this side of the flood, right here, where in fact, my name is Trace.
We haven't looked at Bob Larson in a while. It's not an exorcism video, though, so don't worry. He's going to tell us today, though, how to avoid catching demons through the computer, which is apparently a thing he thinks you can do.
Can you get a demon online? Until recently, getting a demon via the occult took some doing. Effort and investigation were necessary. Take President Abraham Lincoln, for example. He served during the first major surge of spiritualism in America. Think things are bad now with online Ouija boards, yoga in church, and online tarot card readings? A newly published book entitled In the House of Their Dead chronicles the dramatic rise of interest in what the Bible calls necromancy, seances, and speaking with the dearly departed. During the mid-19th century, when Lincoln was first elected president in 1860, there were an estimated 1.6 million spiritualists in a country of only 31 million people. That same ratio today would leave us with about 20 million spiritualists compared to today's population. Spiritualism in the 1800s had taken such a hold on the
No, he's not really a priest. He just wears the outfit.
nation that it was rumored President Lincoln visited a New Orleans witch doctor for advice. When his first child died at the age of 3, it was alleged that in 1830, Lincoln and his wife Mary had consulted 3 witches to speak with the child. 2 years later, when a second son died, President Lincoln admitted to communicating with the child in his dreams. Mary, meanwhile,
Having dreams about your dead children? Blasphemy.
dived deeply into the occult by attending many seances, some in the White House.
Mary Todd Lincoln was mentally ill severely.
Today, followers of New Age spiritualism need go no further than their computing devices or cell phones. In addition to the assorted Ouija advocates and tarot enthusiasts, many online can quickly discover how to make a voodoo doll, cast a spell, or vicariously indulge in satanic rituals. If you wish, it's possible to get an online bachelor's, master's, or PhD degree in mythology and occultism, or you can strive for certification in Gnosticism, esotericism, or mysticism. There are live psychic chats with immediate answers to life's tough questions.
To be clear, on his website, he sells online sessions where he will do, like, online video call exorcisms, or he'll give you advice about his woo-woo bullshit, but apparently this other woo-woo bullshit is evil.
Various so-called mystery schools offer tutoring.
Miss Cornett says anything not Christian or white is bad. And Tea with Goblin says, cut to me, candles on a circle and sigils on my titties. Boy howdy, would be a shame if a demon possessed me right now.
in witchcraft and all things pagan and druid. There's an online school of witchcraft and a virtual witchcraft academy. A plethora of spellcasters offer advice for love spells and revenge curses. All this on iOS and Android. It's likely that Mary Todd Lincoln picked up some demons with her sojourns into spiritualism.
No, she did not. She had mental illness.
President Lincoln may have done the same. And here's something interesting. John Wilkes Booth, who assassinated Lincoln, was a close friend and drinking buddy of Charles Colchester, a famous spiritualist during Lincoln's presidency. In fact, Colchester performed a seance for Mrs. Lincoln and was said to have brought forth her departed child, Willie. Lincoln himself asked Colchester to perform for Joseph Henry, then Secretary of the Smithsonian Institution. Did that connection embolden, even give a spiritual legal right to the demons that must have possessed Booth?
What? He was just racist! He just didn't like that the South lost the Civil War! What the fuck are you talking about? It wasn't a demon! John Wilkes Booth was not possessed by demons! He had fucking political grievances against Lincoln! You fucking idiot! I hate you! I hate Twitch Times 2 with 101 bits says, I can't believe this genius knows about our plans. I'll need to go back to the others and discuss this.
Seances, talking to the dead, and all forms of divination can be lumped into one biblical category: witchcraft. The Bible condemns all such investigations nearly 24 times in the Bible, whether for online profit or the nation's White House. The clearest
The Bible is very clear that especially the internet witches and the witches in the White House, the Bible's very specific about those.
Statement is 1 Samuel 15:23. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Every individual, rich or poor, politically connected or ordinary citizen, sinner or saint, who summons supernatural help with online or offline witchcraft risks losing their soul, perhaps even their life. King Saul died for consulting the witch of Endor, the spiritualist of her time. So perhaps did President Abraham Lincoln, who risked his life by seeking to talk to the dead.
Your financial support and prayers make it possible for us to bring hope for the
Mostly the financial support, though.
hurting and freedom to those in spiritual bondage. For the latest information regarding ministry
Occult
outreaches,
Comics says, false, Booth didn't kill Lincoln. The president's head was just suddenly a very powerful magnet and had a sudden effect on Booth's firearm.
Good morning, everybody. It is Jillian. So, yeah, it's pretty grim out there. It's very, very intense as far as the energy because we're in climate change. And with climate change comes so many things that are coming up for people. I don't care what it is. Anything that is bothering them, anything that is a trauma to them, anything that is also a cancer or a disease, or I don't say cancer or disease because it's not cancer or disease until it comes up. So anything that was ever like hidden behind a remedy or a cure or a surgery or any type of anything in the medical holistic system, well, that's going to break through at some point. And of course, it's different for everybody because everybody gets the different climate changes that go on because the weather always fluctuates. And it doesn't even matter who controls the weather when you think about it because it's irrelevant. You have no control. And so literally you have to then figure out how are you going to deal with the weather when it comes to you or if it's at your door today. And so, yeah. And so, but people are going to be seeing a lot of stuff come up and then they're going to be at the medical system trying everything they can.
Literally, what is she talking about? I think Jillian has been in a constant dialogue with herself for the last year, and she just films it like 5 minutes a day. And it's just stream of consciousness conspiracy nonsense. Like, she just talks and says nothing. It's wild.
Can to stuff the genie back in the bottle. They're going to be out there with their holistic remedies, stuffing the genie back in the bottle. They're going to be doing everything they can to stuff the genie back in the bottle. But I'm going to say that's not the point of this new world. That is not the point of this new world, is stuffing the genie back in the bottle. Now the genie's out of the bottle. And if you can't deal with the genie coming out of the bottle, then, yeah, people are going to be doing everything they can to anesthetize themselves. And that's where a lot of the rest in peace comes from. And so...
Okay, I think that's all I can take of her today. Jesus.
Jesus Christ was an alien, and the Immaculate Conception is the result of an experiment in genetic engineering conducted by representatives of a highly developed civilization that exists on another planet. So say ufologists.
There's a lot to unpack in this image. Discordant Volt says, you know, like Congress. So, I'm seeing alien cyborg slutty Jesus, who appears to be some kind of cyberpunk sex worker. The aliens are in robes? Okay, sure.
Who discovered
Discordant Vol says now they have to cool before glazing.
a UFO in a medieval painting with religious content. The Italian artist Carlo Crivelli painted the painting, The Annunciation, with Saint Emilius in 1486. In the picture, as ufologists suddenly discovered, there is something very similar to an alien saucer. A strange object, in this case, emits a beam that is directed to the Virgin Mary. Finding such amazing details in the 15th century picture, the ufologists suggested that the cause of the Immaculate Conception, as a result of which Jesus was born, was this mysterious UFO ray. The birth of Jesus was the result of a large-scale experiment that the aliens had on the earthly woman. Probably Jesus was not the only child like that, but he was widely known. That is how things happened. The list verse quotes ufologists.
What the fuck? This painting depicts this thing like a beam, so it must be an alien beam, is a weak argument. Tea Time Tea, thanks for continuing your gift sub.
Was Jesus an extraterrestrial or possibly an Anunnaki hybrid? Is it possible that Jesus was an Anunnaki hybrid? From what we've seen over and over again, the truth is always hidden under a pile of lies and is twisted and turned upside down until what little truth remains is so obscured that we don't know what to believe anymore. Jesus and the Council of Nicaea. From my studies of theology, I have learned that the figures known as Jesus was created by the Council of Nicaea in the year 325 AD as a way to bring together all the Yeshua ben Yosef cults via Emperor Constantine. The council added the supernatural abilities of Mithra, Horus, and Osiris to the Jesus entity they created, and from that point forward, Christianity was created. The Bible was missing chapters such as the Book of Enoch, the Book of Jubilees, the Book of Numbers, and the Book of the Wars of Jehovah.
Saying missing is a little bit... there are a lot of things that could have gone into the Bible but didn't. That was determined, I think, at the Council of Nicaea. Like, it's a whole thing. I wouldn't say, like, they're missing as much as they were just candidates that didn't make it in.
So one must question why any books would be eliminated and why. What we know through
different theological and political reasons, honestly.
These missing books is that Jehovah, El Shaddai, and eventually called Yahweh, was known as Lord and was a god of vengeance and wrath. Is it possible that when Jesus replaced Jehovah, that...
Sorry, Tea with Goblins. Tea with Goblins said, sorry, message from before got eaten. It's kind of enraging that Bob, a man with no formal theological or scholarly training, claims some kind of moral or intellectual authority here. If you want to see a real expert on the history of religious magic practices and belief of the influence on Sun culture that is woo-free, I recommend Dr. Justin Sledge of Esoterica. Oh, cool. Thank you. Thanks for the link.
That people are unknowingly worshiping the same God of vengeance and wrath. What is known about the Bible is how it was written in perfect reverse astrotheological order as we move through the precision of the equinoxes, which explains the reverse order of the astrological signs. For example, when the Israelites idolized the golden calf when Moses went to the mountains, it symbolized the age of Taurus. When Moses blew on the ram horn, it symbolized the age of Aries. When Jesus fed the masses with 2 fish, it symbolized the age of Pisces. When Jesus said to follow the man bearing the pitcher of water, it symbolized the age of Aquarius. If nothing else, the Bible teaches us about how astrotheology was used to control the masses because the Bible's...
In the time of the Bible being written, I don't even think the people writing it were they even using the same constellations you're referring to? What are you talking about?
Timeline brings us to an artificial end time right now, which is why we're seeing those in power trying to evoke the Revelation chapters when we could be living in a world of peace and harmony instead of chaos. The Anunnaki timetable. What if the Bible is an encrypted timetable for the return of our galactic family? Is it possible that the ruling elite know this and are trying to create the end times to prevent humanity from ascending in order to harvest our energy for their own archontic reasons while keeping us living in fear as economic slaves to a broken system of fiat?
Oh, look at that space Jesus crying.
Currency. Perhaps these times will bring us the return of the Anunnaki, the creator gods. It's interesting that in Genesis 1:26,
Forrest Espion says, I think this guy is ready to go on the Joe Rogan podcast. Hannah, if you could interview this guy, what question would you ask? What's his relationship like with his family? Does he talk to them about this stuff?
Equals the genes of Isis. It says, let us make man in our own image. The us
Cornet Vol says he just watched someone masturbating.
are the Elohim, who were the creator gods in the Bible. But is it possible that they are the Anunnaki as well? Secret society influences. What we do know is that the name Jesus never existed at the time of his alleged birth, because the
Yeah, it's a translation from Yeshua.
Letter J wasn't invented until the 1500s. This also means there was no official John, Job, Jacob, Jeremiah,
Yes, they're translations.
Jude, Joseph, etc. The King James Version of the Bible wasn't written until the year 1611 and was edited by Rosicrucian and Freemason Sir Francis Bacon. With ties to secret societies, is it possible that the truth was twisted and or encrypted? What we do know is that there is a Christian Bible on the main floor of any Freemason lodge. But when you get to the 33rd degree of Freemasonry, the Luciferian doctrine is followed by those who have been initiated into this level. Additionally, the 33rd degree Mason motto is Ordo ab Chao, which means order of chaos. You can do all these things and more. According to the work of Greg Braden, we only have 22 of the 64 codons in our DNA turned on. Imagine what we might be capable of doing if all our codons were activated. Perhaps this is what is meant when Jesus said that you can do all these things and more. John 14:12, King James Version. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he
Stone Corbell says DNA doesn't work that way. Discordant Fool says dying of cancer.
He do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. Is it possible that our DNA is about to fully activate after being genetically manipulated by the Anunnaki? Is this something we can do for ourselves? I've been experimenting on myself by trying to find ways to activate these codons, and by
What kind of experimenting? Wait, what?
fully activating my DNA in humanity's best interests.
What is he doing to try and activate his DNA?
You can read more about my experiments in the article, How Can We Change Our DNA Right Now? Is Jesus the same as the Mayas Kukulkan and the Aztecs Quetzalcoatl? It seems many things that are in humanity's best interests are suppressed. Look no further than Stanley Meyer's invention of a water-powered car that could go from coast to coast in the United States on 22 gallons of water.
You can't power a car with water. That's not how this works. Logarth says, damn, whatever this guy is smoking, I want some. You can't create energy out of nowhere. You need to extract energy from something somehow. The reason that, like, gasoline is a fuel that's viable is because it's combustible. The combustion is a chemical, like, it's stored as chemical energy and then it fucking explodes, right? That's why that has energy. It's not just because it's a liquid. Like, water can't do that. That doesn't do anything. What's the water doing to make energy?
Offered $1 billion by the automotive industry, but turned it down because he wanted this invention to go out to the people. Shortly afterwards, he was poisoned to death. There was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed man by the name of Kukulkan who visited the Maya and taught them about astronomy, agriculture, medicine, and mathematics. It is
Occult Comics says, wait, Kukulon, the feathered serpent god, walks on water, flies, is hot, I'd worship him. What is this? What? I still haven't seen the new Black Panther.
It is believed that he came from the Pleiades to help the Maya civilization and promised to return at some future date. The same entity is described as Quetzalcoatl by the Aztecs. Could this story be the
winged serpent.
Same as the story of Jesus. Is it possible that Jesus was an extraterrestrial from a neighboring planet or star system? We know very little about Jesus from the time of his birth until his 30s. If the Star of Bethlehem was a UFO, then is it possible that Jesus went back to his mothership to prepare himself for the teachings he would give to the masses until the time of his alleged death? As Michael Tellinger points out, the most compelling argument against the mythological gods theory is that roughly 9,000 years
Bumble Homestead with 100 bits says Jesus was not blonde. Source?
BC, prior to the appearance of Sumer, the Mayan civilization suddenly emerged and astoundingly showed the same predilections toward agriculture, planting, harvesting, social organization, trade, and commerce as Sumeria, all attributable to the teachings of the gods. It is possible, even likely, that more than one extraterrestrial group or groups have left their mark on Earth. In this writer's opinion, the story of Jesus was created by the church as a means of subservience, control, and conformity to religion and government. While it's definitely possible that an entity with supernatural abilities existed, he was most likely an extraterrestrial or possibly an Anunnaki hybrid. If you enjoyed
Corbell says Possible is doing so much work in this diatribe.
this video and want to see
Yeah, sure. Right. Well, racist disbelief of historical achievements. It's biblical. It's not really historical. I don't know.
As always, I'm covering the obvious fakery by NASA. This time, absolutely ridiculous, supposedly, with this Artemis rocket headed towards the moon and supposedly carrying 3 test dummies. Give me a break. Everybody at NASA, they're just a bunch of dummies. Supposedly the first mission to the moon in 50 years. And let's break it all down. And actually, before playing the clip from NASA's Artemis rocket launch, let's take a listen to this goofball Don Pettit, this so-called astronaut, more like the head of mockery at NASA. Let's take a listen to what is said here. Just really unbelievable. Take a listen.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
And it makes absolutely no sense why NASA had a working technology back in the 60s.
The launch systems in the 60s weren't reusable. Once you used the boosters, they were done. They're one and done. The concept of reusing boosters is very recent.
To go to the moon, and they destroyed it. And he gives no explanation of why it's destroyed and how it's destroyed. It makes absolutely no sense. And again, this is just nothing but pure mockery. Now let's get right to the footage itself. And besides the obvious fakery, there's the Masonic
You can tell because of the way it is.
fingerprints all over the place. Let's get right to it.
Coming up at T-minus 33 seconds, the GLS will hand off control to the ALS. This is...
You just heard the narrator for NASA say T-minus 33 seconds. Of course, all coded. Besides the rocket itself being orange, you see the black and white.
Because there's no reasonable explanation as to why they would want their rocket to be orange.
Checkerboard symbolism. This is all about Freemasonry. Just like on their runway at Kennedy Space Center. Kennedy being 33 and also the obvious 33.
Cornett Vola gives 100 bits and kicks off a second hype train. Considering we broke the record for hype train earlier in the stream, not really going to push this one just because, well, you guys gave me a lot already. I appreciate it.
3 painted on the runway itself. And again, getting back to the rocket in the Masonic checkerboard, the black and the white. There's just so much symbolism in plain sight. They're telling you through signs and symbols who's operating this so-called space agency. Again, the black and white checkerboard. And getting back to this image, again, the same. It all comes down to, when it comes to Freemasonry, with this famous quote from
Vast Lunacy has decided to be vast in their lunacy. once again, and gives 50 tier 1 subs to the community. Jesus Christ, Vast Lunacy, thank you. Thank you so much. Stone Corbell says 2 squares equals a checkerboard. True. 4% to level 9. Jesus.
Walter
This
Scott.
has got to be the most gift subs I've ever gotten in one day, for sure.
Very famous.
Elminato, thanks for 18 months. That's a sub baby. This sub baby's name is going to be Vast Lunacy Jr. in honor of Vast Lunacy.
Freemason. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we first practice to deceive. And let's get back to the so-called launch. And definitely, I'm not disputing they actually launch a rocket. Definitely doesn't.
Occult Comics, throw in a little Clock Blockers, too. A Clock Blockers Jr., because Clock Blockers did, like, a crazy number of subs earlier, too.
I'm going to
if that's not too much of a pain. If it is, I get it. But
space basically just goes into the Bermuda Triangle area.
And here we go.
10.
Hydrogen burn-off igniters initiated. 7, 6, 5. 4-stage engine start. 3, 2, 1. Boosters ignition.
Boosters ignition. I'm not sure what he's trying to say there, but it sounded pretty funny.
You didn't understand him saying boosters ignition, even from context clues?
Let's take another listen.
Boosters ignition.
First Name Punch Numbers says Kennedy was also the guy who said we should go to the moon, which might have something to do with why a space center was named after him. Or it's all Freemason stuff, who can say?
Again, I think he's got a bit excited.
Yeah, if I got to count down a rocket launch, I'd also be pretty excited.
Yeah, whatever.
Just because that's like a, you know, it's like one of those things. Like you just know Kid U would be happy. It's like if Kid U knew you got to, I don't know, see a dinosaur or something. It's just dope.
The case is, let's continue on with this nonsense. Nothing more than NASA smoke and mirrors as usual. Let's take a look.
Hydrate.
And definitely scripted as scripted gets.
And liftoff of Artemis 1. We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
Wow, how cringe, how tacky. And
it's not cringe. They're excited that their careers are allowing them to do something that I don't think you get into rocketry and this kind of stuff. Like, I'm sure you can make money doing it depending on your role, but like, it seems like the kind of job that you do because you're fascinated and enamored with the concept of space and human exploration of space and science involving space. Like, who in the world do you think is working for this organization? They're excited. Citisaurus says, bits for hype train. Therapy was wholly unproductive due to cold medicine brain. Oh well. Sorry to hear it. Vast Lunacy says, if it's scripted, why would wouldn't they redo the guy blowing his line? Internal consistency isn't the conspiracy theorist's strong suit. Almanato says, imagine, Kid, you being told they will see dinosaurs in their giant chickens. That'd be awesome.
What's funny to me is you have millions upon millions of people out there in this world that believe this nonsense. I said it many times, where adults are nothing more than larger sized children and government are their parents. And here's another case. And no matter how horrible, how atrocious their fakery is with NASA, the public's going to buy it hook, line, and sinker. Let's continue on.
Pamela Homestead says, how are people surprised the NASA people are a little nerdy? They're in passion. Yeah, right? Like, NASA people are like the platonic ideal of like childhood wonder turning into adult productivity. Like turning that wonder at something into a passion and a career and like building things. I think it's nice, but Gnome Pickles says, who do you think is working for this organization? Pretty sure my cat is. He disappears under the bed often. I think he has a secret terminal. The cats are running the conspiracy. It makes as much sense as this dude's ideas. And Spin, thanks for 100 bits. Gosh dang, and level 8 hype train after the level whatever it was 16 earlier? Holy hell. Thank you, everyone.
core stage and 2 solid rocket boosters, now propelling the vehicle at 128 miles per hour.
So we see this rocket going up in the sky, but definitely, again, not going into so-called deep space. They just show us just enough to get the public convinced that they're actually going to space. But of course, they cut off the camera before it actually supposedly goes into space, goes into the supposed low Earth orbit, which I'll get into more later on. But definitely, you never see this continuous flight of any rockets going into space.
Yes, you can. There are rockets that go into space and have cameras on the rocket. What are you talking about?
And there's that huge arc it makes, again, supposedly with a low Earth orbit. And again, remember, this is all about going to the moon. And I'm going to stop it right here for a second and show the diagram, Artemis 1 launch and ascent, with this, again, diagram where the rocket booster takes off and supposedly propels the capsule itself at low Earth orbit. Of course, we've already seen the downward angle, the huge arc it makes. It's basically coming straight down.
No, it's not. That's literally just how you get into an orbit around the Earth. Like, this is one of the most basic things about orbital mechanics. If you play like a simulation of this kind of thing, like Kerbal Space Program, going directly up is not efficient or any way how you would want to get up. That's not how it works. Once you get to a certain height, in order to basically reach escape velocity to get into a free fall around the Earth, you need to start moving laterally. You need to start moving basically against how the Earth is rotating. Stone Corbell says, conspiracy nonsense aside, I'm so excited for us to go to the moon again. Me too.
And here again is another diagram of the whole entire process. As you see here with the fake phony ball Earth. Here's the...
I mean, that is an illustration, but it is an illustration of the Earth, which is real, and a globe.
Launch off Florida, supposedly, again, the...
I'm sorry, not escape velocity. I mean just into stable orbit. Sorry.
Low Earth orbit, making its way around the fake phony ball Earth, making its way to the moon, and orbiting the moon comes back, supposedly comes back to Earth. And I came across this one website, Daryl Gilbert Photography. Let's scroll down here of this fakery, which I have no doubt he believes is real. But whatever the case is, let's scroll down here, which I found pretty interesting with this one particular photo. As I scroll down, here it is right here. Now take a look here. This is the actual supposed launch of Artemis 1.
Yes, this is how rocket launches look, because that's the path that they take to get into orbit. You do not want to go straight up. You will waste so much fuel, it just makes it prohibitively difficult. You need to do that. So you're trying to get... How do I want to put this? I don't know enough about orbital mechanics to have the words to explain what I am describing. Does anyone here have the words? Basically, you are trying to break away from the momentum that you share with the Earth and trying to get into a position where you are now free falling around it perpetually.
Off the coast of Florida. What do you see here? Again, the huge arc coming straight down. Here's the moon. So the question is, where's the footage of this low Earth orbit taking place on the other side of the ball Earth? If it's doing this low Earth orbit, there should be people on the other side of the so-called globe.
I mean, they're also getting higher as this is happening, so no.
Seeing this and filming it. And we don't get that, of course not.
They launch over the ocean for safety reasons. Gnome Pickle says, best way I've heard it described is that pushing outwards is easier than pushing up and fighting the acceleration of the object you're leaving.
So again, just so many anomalies. Basically, liars can't keep their lies straight. We never get footage of the low Earth orbit from the other side of the so-called globe. These rockets simply just dump into the Bermuda Triangle. That's exactly why They have
the Bermuda Triangle is one of the most highly trafficked areas in the world for, like, sea travel.
Created this bad
I think someone would notice.
Stigma with the Bermuda Triangle, with planes and ships missing. And as you can see here, this depiction of the Bermuda Triangle from Marvel X-Men number 4, dated 1964.
Ah, yes. X-Men, where I go for all of my information.
Where you see the Bermuda Triangle. What do you see here on the map? Secret Freemason shadow government head.
Yeah, it's a gag. It's an X-Men comic book. It's a gag page.
Headquarters. So there's definitely something going on with, again, this stigma they place on the Bermuda Triangle, keeping people out of that region. And again, I believe this is exactly where they've been dumping these rockets into this vicinity here and keeping people away based on the fear of supposedly...
Does he genuinely believe that, like, sea captains are, like... sea captains from a movie that are like, I never take my boat out into the triangle. Don't trust it, you hear? It's not a movie. People go through the Bermuda Triangle all the time. It's heavily trafficked.
Mysteriously disappearing if you show up in this area. And let's get back to the fakery, the smoke and mirrors fakery with the Artemis launch.
Like, what he is positing is basically that the United States government has perpetuated a Scooby-Doo villain-level plan where they have scared people away from the Bermuda Triangle with the government version of effectively putting on a mask and spooking people away so they can hide the evidence of their fake rocketry. Who would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling YouTubers and your stupid dog.
Launch.
Standing by for solid rocket booster jettison and shortly thereafter.
It's coming straight down. Not going to space.
That the solid rocket boosters have separated these 177-foot boosters.
Now these are the boosters, of course, attached to the rocket itself, themselves, and they're going to spiral out of control and come straight down.
Now the core stage continues to power the flight of Orion, all four RS-25 engines firing, traveling over 3,400 miles per hour, 46 miles downrange.
The rocket boosters coming down, and now the garbage fakery. So what's filming this? They're supposedly in low Earth orbit. What's filming this supposed Artemis rocket?
This, I'm pretty sure, is like a mock-up. I don't think this is the real thing we're looking at this still.
Absolutely ridiculous, and the public will buy it without question, because the public believes nothing until they see it on television programming, and it's just more the same. They have been doing this for years and years. Again, just launching a rocket that doesn't go into space, then they give us a cartoon from space. But that's all you need for the general...
To film it like this, he understands you would have to launch a second rocket, right? Exponentially increasing the issue, because then you're launching two rockets right next to each other, one just to follow the other, and they have to avoid each other and be safe next to each other.
Public, they don't have much discernment.
I know they had cameras on the rocket itself.
They have piss poor discernment what it comes down to. And let's move this up here a little bit. And to the very end of this clip where they show the supposed Orion capsule detaching from the Artemis rocket. Give me a break. This is a complete joke. It's just a Super Nintendo or PlayStation 1 video game. Take a look at this. Unbelievable.
I mean, this is a model. Yeah, it's for illustrative purposes. It's not supposed to look like photorealistic. It's just supposed to illustrate what's going on. Logard says that's just the rocket's VTuber.
How the public...
He's going to report the rocket to VTube.
Doesn't question this. Again, all you need to give them is basically horrible CGI rendering footage, and this is enough for the extremely gullible public to
I like that sometimes you look at images that clearly are real from space, like the International Space Station or whatever, and they'd be like, whatever, that's photorealistic CGI. They're the government. They have trillions of dollars they can use to make as amazing CGI as they want. But then they'll see something like this that's clearly just for illustrative purposes. Like, it's not trying to look photorealistic, it's just trying to show you basically the mechanics of what's happening, and they go, this is so fake, how do people even buy this? It looks so cheap. Which is it? Are they so good that it's indistinguishable, or is it so bad that we're idiots for not catching it?
Fall for NASA's nonsense. And that brings me to Elon Musk, who I hold in the same regard as Don Pettit. Just another character on the world stage. You see him doing the Masonic diamond sign. And definitely he's not running SpaceX, Tesla, Twitter, all these companies. He's just a figurehead, more or less.
Believe me, I wish that was true.
Like a president such as Joe Biden. Just the face of these positions where there's people behind the scenes truly running it. Let's listen to what Elon Musk says. Again, I always say in the world of duality, they give us the truth in plain sight. Let's take a listen to this podcast where he talks about so-called moon missions from the past.
And make sci-fi real, and be on other planets and go back to the moon. Then we need big rockets.
Why do you think we haven't been back to the moon?
Well, I think another way of thinking about it is that the fact that we were able to go to the moon in '69 was such an anomalous situation. It was like reaching into the future and bringing the technology forward that normally wouldn't be there. Like, that was not the natural pace of technology development. It's just that the United States just collectively decided
Elon accidentally making an argument for nationalization of industry.
that this has got to be done.
Man, when the government takes control of something, it seems like we progress in it way faster than we would in the private sector. That's crazy. Anyway, I'm here to talk about how I'm privatizing the space sector. I'm Elon Musk.
We kind of got to beat the Soviets, So
I don't want to sound like, have we not been back since then? Or
oh my god, does this man not even know the last time we went to the moon? Why are you in? What is this?
there were a few trips to the moon. So it wasn't just one.
Okay.
Holy fucking shit. Is everyone stupid? Does no one know anything? Was I the only one paying attention in school?
Landings? Like actually landed on the moon and walked. Oh.
Holy fucking shit, these are adults. They don't... This wasn't like 100 years ago. We were going to the moon in the 70s. What the fuck?
I think the last landing was maybe 72.
Wow, it sounds weird that we'd be so much more advanced now and we haven't gone back.
I agree. It's totally weird.
And that's all you need to hear. Elon Musk is totally weird that we haven't been back. Quote, we haven't been back in 50 years. And again, this is just mockery on the part of Elon Musk. And just like I showed earlier, the Masonic hand sign. And again, they always have to give us these fragments of truth in plain sight for all to see.
The conspiracy theorists are... I don't know if they're getting worse or if my patience is just... my patience is just shorter. Okay, let's see who we're rating. Jake's been on for a while. He's been going for 3 hours. He's got to be almost done. We could do Occult Comics. Stone Corbell says, the hand sign thing is the most annoying thing about these people because at any given time I'm not thinking about my hands are doing. I'm sure I've made a Masonic hand sign at some points by pure accident. It helps when everything is a Masonic hand sign to them. Looks like Occult Comics is working on Vast Lunacy Jr. art. So enjoy that. Love you too, Mr. Blast. I'll see you tomorrow. To anyone in the States, like myself and my family, have a great Thanksgiving tomorrow. Of course, I'll be taking the day off to spend time with family and my wonderful wife. So I hope you have a good time with yours. If you're spending it by yourself or just with some friends, whatever you happen to do, I hope you have a wonderful day. And I'll be back Friday to hang out some more. So I'll see you guys then, okay? Have a good one. Later.